local sports leader in the 916. This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Beam business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital, taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. Tons of Friday fun and madness to be had as we check in on busted brackets, drop the latest NFL hot takes, and get you ready for the weekend. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome into Cattles and Rami with special guest Whitey Gleason for Nick.
Not the boring, generic milquetoast stuff coming from the network in Connecticut.
I describe him as the best, obviously.
Cattles.
He throws it out there. Speaks his mind. That's cool.
And Rami.
He's supposed to make people laugh. He's just an expert at it.
Cattles and Rami. Live and local in the afternoon.
Sactown Sports.
That is the show. No Cattles. I am Rami. You know that if you're familiar with the show. And you heard Simone in the update, special guest filling in for Nick Cattles this afternoon. It's an honor and a pleasure. Kevin Whitey Gleason.
Yeah, it's
in the
great.
house.
Thank you.
They always tell me mic check when I forget to do that.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things. I wasn't sure. Are they doing it in there? So I'll just kind of pretend like.
No, you're on your own. You're on your own, Whitey.
Gotcha.
You're on your own there.
Great to be here on such an auspicious occasion as the Kings celebrating 42 wins.
This is a wild day. Kings celebrating 42 wins. NCAA tournament going on.
Yeah.
Turn your radios, turn your TVs down, turn your radios, or however you listen to us. YouTube.com/Sactown Sports is how you can watch us as well. Check out SactownSports.com. But take in the college basketball action while you tune into the show today. It's also St. Patrick's Day. You a big St. Patrick's Day guy, Whitey?
Gleason, I'm part Irish.
I didn't want to jump to any conclusions or make any assumptions.
I celebrate privately. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Will there be a green beer or two had in the?
There may be. That may be the case. Maybe by the time we're done today, I may have already started that.
Let me get this out of the way right off the top. We're going to have plenty of Kings talk. Kings coach Jordi Fernandez is going to be joining us at 4 o'clock. Looking forward to that, much more, and some weirdness as there usually is on a Friday. It's always a weird thing when you're working with somebody, meeting somebody for the first time, and they got a nickname. You know what? So you go by Whitey. I am to refer to you as Whitey.
You can call me if you want. My name is Kevin. Whatever you're comfortable with. May I tell you the story?
No, whatever you're comfortable with.
I don't care. I years ago I was starting in radio, and they said, "Okay, kid, punk, we're going to put you on the radio. Good for you. And your name is going to be Stretch Bergmeyer." And I'd never been on the radio. And I said, "No, it's not. Normally you're supposed to say, okay, whatever you say." I said, I can't do that.
They really wanted you to be Stretch Bergmeyer?
Like, you're all set, Stretch. You start Monday doing sports. I was like, not going to happen.
No.
So they said, all right, what do you got? Well, Gleason is my actual name. And when I was a kid, my brother, Phantom, he's a nickname too, Mark, he used to be on stage too. He used to call me, and my dad called me Whitey because I had blonde hair.
Okay.
So,
right.
And it's kind of a sports thing. It's, Whitey Ford, Whitey Herzog.
Sure.
So I said, what about Whitey Gleason? And they said, somebody really likes Stretch Bergmeyer. I don't know who or why, but they said, okay. And it was one of those things kind of, I thought, eventually I'll change it, whatever. But here we are, and you're asking me all this time later.
Radio is such a weird place. Yeah. Stretch Bergmeyer. So that's Whitey Gleason. Most of you know him. Probably more of you know him than know me. You can get in on the show as well. 800-920-1140 is how you can give us a call. You can text us 916-339-1140. And again, you can always comment on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Sactown Sports. You said it, Whitey. First time they have a winning record since 2006. Last time this team made the playoffs with the 101-96 victory last night. I know De'Aaron Fox and a few other guys, they tried to sort of downplay what a winning record means. And I get it. From the competitor's standpoint, I get like not setting the bar low and always wanting more, Whitey. But I've been sort of sometimes I have to like prod and push my co-host Nick Cattles to just have a little more fun and enjoy things a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And one thing I've been telling him and Kings fans is enjoy every benchmark. You know what I mean? Enjoy every hurdle as you go along here, especially as long as Kings fans have been suffering. And I don't think Kings fans should just, they shouldn't do the same thing the players and the coaches might be doing, which is ho-hum, winning record. That's not what I came here for. Kings fans should sort of celebrate this, enjoy this, relish this. It's not the be-all, end-all, but it's a pretty cool thing that for the first time in 16 years, you got a winning team here in Sacramento.
Did you know, if I'm not mistaken, the Kings, not only did they have the longest stretch in the NBA of seasons without a winning one, which now is broken, they had the second longest too, which was like 83 to 98 or whatever it was. Even though they made the playoffs a couple of times in there, they didn't have winning records. So you're right. And it is probably more important to fans right now than it is to the players. Players obviously just don't have time in the middle of the season to stop and go, hey, this is great. But for fans, and I don't think you need to tell Kings fans twice. I mean, this year has just been, it has been truly, you know, we always say, oh, it's unbelievable. This year in some ways has bordered on the absolute unbelievable. And it's great after so many years of drudgery to have so many little steps along the way to wherever this is headed to celebrate.
And that win last night, 101-96 in Brooklyn on the third of 4 games where they travel out east. And it comes on the back end of back-to-backs with travel in between. They arrived at their hotel rooms at 3:30 in the morning. They lost an hour traveling with the time change and all that. 39% from the floor, just 101 points. That was the fewest points in any win that the Kings have had this season. And the word that I thought of when I was watching it to describe that win and afterwards was gritty. And that's exactly how Coach Mike Brown described it afterwards.
I never imagined that I would use that word with this team this year, gritty. The guys showed grit definitely tonight. You know, I told them I was proud of them. The game wasn't pretty offensively, but I thought we tried to get out and run. I thought we tried to move the ball. You got to give the Nets a lot of credit. They got long athletes that are 6'7" and bigger, and they just switch a lot of stuff. And sometimes that baits you into playing iso ball, which we did a couple of times tonight. And usually when that happens, we stall out, and we did at times. But I thought we were just gritty, and we found ways to get stops. And
I thought gritty. Mike Brown thought gritty. Some might even call it ugly, Whitey, and watching how the Kings won yesterday. But I kind of expected that. Yesterday we talked about that game during the Cattles and Rami show here. And I said to Nick, not only was I ready and expecting maybe a sluggish Kings team to come out, and if they were going to win it, it might have to be an ugly one given the circumstances of the travel and everything else. I said yesterday, not to be the Debbie Downer or the party pooper here, I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this one, even though they're the better team than Brooklyn, just because understanding the schedules, the hardships of travel in the NBA and how a season can catch up to you. That looked like one last night where it might catch up to them, and they fought right through it and somehow pulled out the win.
You know, it was impressive last night, and I say this so many times about every Kings game now. This was impressive. That was impressive. But the Kings, for the most part, they've been one team in many games this year for 3 quarters, where you go through DeMontis, and then in the fourth quarter, it's Fox time, right?
Yeah.
And last night, it was like your closer didn't have his fastball. Fox, because they played the night before, whatever, he wasn't bad, but he just wasn't as good as he's been. And that fourth quarter, you could see he doesn't have that. It's just not there. It's like the closer's down tonight. So how do we close? And everybody picked up the slack. And I could be wrong, but I thought, you tell me if I'm wrong, I thought I saw the Kings play defense last night.
They sure did.
Okay.
No, you're right.
I didn't imagine that.
I have some numbers to prove it, which one of them is one of those things where it pops off the page and it's surprising, if not shocking, when you talk about the Kings and what we've gotten used to them and from their defense this year. For 47 minutes and 54 seconds last night, Whitey, which 48 minutes is an NBA game, in case you didn't know that out there in YouTube land. 47 minutes and 54 seconds last night, they didn't allow a single second chance or fast break point. It would have been the first time since October 30th, 2015 that a team had not allowed points in either category throughout an entire game. I think it was Cam Johnson in like the last 5 seconds of the game just kind of weaved through the Kings defense and got a garbage layup or dunk when it didn't mean anything, and they called that a breakaway. If not for that, they go an entire game without allowing one single second chance or fast break point. And they've been pretty good on the fast breaks and transition defense. But one thing that's been a problem for this Kings team, especially in games like that where it gets slowed down and bogged down, is second chance points and allowing a team to get those offensive rebounds. What was it, 23 a couple of weeks ago that they allowed to New York on the TNT game? That was impressive last night on the defensive side for the Kings in a lot of ways.
Most of your successful defensive possessions end in what? A rebound. So they dominated last night. Kings had a lot of offensive rebounds themselves last night, primarily because they didn't shoot the ball very well. But I also got to say, those Nets uniforms last night, yes.
You know, can I tell you something about those Nets uniforms? For some reason, they reminded me of the Pistons uniforms from the 80s, and my mind kept playing tricks on me as I was watching that game throughout the night, where I thought I was watching Kings and Pistons.
Oh, yeah, that's unfortunate. Yeah.
Like, I knew it was the Nets, but like, you know, you're just watching the game, and for some reason I kept on like falling into it was Kings Pistons. Those didn't they look like the 80s Pistons uniforms?
I know where you're going.
Whitey?
I mean, I can remember when Dr. J wore those uniforms he had last night, so I go back a ways at a different perspective. I can see how, I mean, it's a lot of times it's kind of disorienting. I was watching the Suns and the Bucks this week, and the Bucks wore black and the Suns wore teal.
I didn't like those.
What?
Those Suns uniforms were weird. The ones that they wore against the Bucks. That didn't look like the Phoenix Suns to me.
Right.
I don't know.
That's it.
I don't want to be that guy. Kings win 101-96, a gritty victory. Some might even call it ugly. You can get in on the phones, 800-920-1140. Text the show, 916-339-1140. If you want to get in, you can always comment on the YouTube page, youtube.com/Sactown Sports. That win last night had Whitey thinking maybe the unthinkable when it comes to this Kings team. It's Whitey Gleason. He's in for Nick. I'm Rami, Cattles and Rami. Back after this.
The only place you'll find
my milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Spilled your milkshake? Quick, the quicker picker upper. Bounty picks up spills quicker. And each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less than the leading ordinary brand. So you can get back to your milkshake.
My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours.
Bounty, the quicker picker upper.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for my good friends at American Energy. Right now, get $2,500 off a new HVAC whole system installation. Now is the time to replace that system. $2,500 off a new HVAC whole home system. 0% financing, payment plan options available. There's no reason to keep putting this off. Schedule today, 916-520-9990, and tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
with you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive. Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
That's the show. Cattles in Vegas, as is JJ. We got Kyle Ledbetter and Simone on the other side of the glass. Yeah, they just happened to. It wasn't like planned for them to go there together. They just happened to.
That's what they told you. Sure. Yeah, I'm sure that's what happened. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know, and there he was.
I'm going out there next weekend. My first time going to
Really?
Vegas. Yeah.
Okay.
That's Whitey Gleason in for Nick Cattles. I'm Rami, talking about a Kings gritty, ugly victory over the Nets yesterday to guarantee their first winning season since 2006, 101-96. That win had Whitey thinking maybe the unthinkable when it comes to this Kings team, especially from the start of the season. Before we get into that, Norick is on the phones. He wants to get in on the Kings talk. What's up, Norick?
Hey, how are you doing, Rami?
Doing
I
great,
really
man.
enjoy your show. I listen to it almost every afternoon on my drive home.
Appreciate that. Thank you, Norick.
I heard Whitey's voice on the radio, and it brought back some old memories. I don't know if he remembers me, but I used to call in a lot when I had a long drive for work back late 90s, early 2000s.
Weren't you like a really smart guy, and we used to refer to you as a brain in a jar because that's how smart you were?
Oh,
you doing, my friend?
Yeah. Okay, we lost.
We're losing Norick. That's a bad phone connection. If anybody wants to call in just to catch up with Whitey.
Sorry, Norick.
We welcome it.
Nothing personal. Had nothing to do with it.
No, nothing personal at all. 800-920-1140 is how you can call. You can also text the show, 916-339-1140.
Clearly, the ground rules here are if anybody calls in to talk specifically to Whitey, you cut them off right away. I get
Hit that button that makes it sound like a bad connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every radio station has
fine.
one.
Never works.
But Whitey, you had an interesting question about this game, which I wouldn't think one would have after the way that they won last night. But it's an interesting. You asked me this morning, is it possible the Kings are getting even better after you watched the way that they won the game last night? What made you ask that question to yourself as you were watching that win last night?
Because of the way they won, as I say, Fox wasn't Fox in the fourth quarter. And again, he was just tired. I'm not
sure
singling him out.
He's human.
Criticism.
What we found out last night is De'Aaron Fox is human.
Yeah, but they had to win with defense and they rebounded. And we think we know that those are areas in which, especially defensively, they're probably going to have to improve if they're going to make deep playoff runs. This year in the NBA, we've learned we don't know half the stuff we think we know. But I think that's very encouraging at this point. Second night of a back-to-back to slog through a game like that, because it had kind of in some ways, not the Nets, not the opponent, but in other ways had kind of a playoff feel in terms of the pace of the game.
Do you think that because there is that old narrative and I think there is truth to it, but do you think in today's NBA there's as much truth to the idea that the game slows down in the playoffs with as fast and as offensive as the NBA has become? I think that might be a little less true than it might have been even 10 years ago. You know what I mean? The game has progressed very quickly to the three-pointer, to sprinting up and down the court, getting up as many shots, as many possessions as you can get. It slows down in the postseason, but not like it used to.
I agree with you. I mean, but it's all relative.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, it's not going to be, you look at the offensive numbers this year, offensive ratings for all the teams, and it's way up league wide, but still the better teams, even last year, the better defensive teams are still the teams that have the best chance to go far.
Sure. And Nick and I have talked throughout the season, and certainly since the playoffs have seemed a real possibility, if not a sure thing at this point, about the fact that the idea that as you go through the playoffs and you see different teams, you need to be able to find different ways to win, different ways to put the puzzle together. And that might mean different lineups, different rotations, different guys playing bigger roles off the bench. Like last night, I think in the Bulls game too, you saw two teams that are very defensive, but in their style of basketball, but also you need some length and some athleticism and some size to stay with them. And I think that's why we're going to talk more about Kessler Edwards later.
Incredible.
But I think having another weapon like that off the bench, that changes sort of your dynamic and what you can do in terms of rotations and lineups as a game goes on. I agree with you, Whitey. It bodes very well for what this team can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to talking to Jordi Fernandez about this. This is another thing that speaks volumes as to the potential of the Kings and how they've gotten to this point. March Madness, a lot of times we see teams, a bunch of freshmen, and the coach Coach Calipari is famous for this. You get these guys that have never played together, and then by the end of the year, it's like it's a cohesive team. And the Kings very quickly, and I know that some of the guys played together last year, but very quickly, this became a very functional and cohesive unit. And I think that speaks to, that's why a guy like Kessler Edwards is able to come in and this is what you do, and he performs. And that's really impressive because this looks like a team that's been together for a couple of years, and obviously they haven't.
They limited Brooklyn to just over 41% shooting from the floor last night. They held the Bulls the previous night to just over 39% shooting. That was the first time that they held back-to-back opponents under 42% since the end of November, start of December against the Pacers and the Clippers. I'll just play devil's advocate because I agree with you that they showed something last night and have here recently that we didn't necessarily know was in the arsenal in terms of ways that they can win the game.
If you're going to be devil's advocate, can you put little horns up?
No problem.
Okay, all right, that helps me.
Just do you take it with a grain of salt that it was Brooklyn and Chicago and two teams that aren't great offensively and at scoring the basketball? When you look at where they were ranked coming into those two games. Those aren't two teams that offensively are impressive or strike a lot of fear in you. Is there a grain of salt when you look at the way they won, given those teams and their offenses?
It's a good point, but I say no because beggars can't be choosers. And also, the Nets do pose some problems more offensively, I think, than the Bulls do. Yeah, they got DeMar DeRozan, but given that it was the second out of back-to-back, again, I know we've pointed that out. I thought that was a very encouraging sign. You're right. I mean, you have to keep doing it, but to do that on the road, second night against a team that, Michael Bridges is having a really good year. I thought it was impressive.
I take it with a slight grain of salt, again, especially given, you saw a championship caliber team in Milwaukee before you left for this trip. And for 2.5 quarters, almost 3 quarters, it looked like you could keep up with their not only their firepower, but their physicality and even stay in a game when it slows down to more of a pace that they want. What happened in the fourth quarter it raised an eyebrow for me in terms of, maybe they're not quite there yet. And even I think it was De'Aaron Fox after the game said that you can see that was a championship caliber team because they made us pay for every mistake that we made. And that's what championship caliber teams do. I don't see anybody out West. I keep saying this, and games like that only fortify this for me and make me believe it even stronger. I don't see anybody out West. Excuse me, I'm getting emotional. I don't see anybody.
Sorry, we'll be all right. It's okay.
I don't see
playoffs haven't even started yet. You're gonna have to take it easy.
I don't see anybody out West who scares me, and especially nobody who is physical enough and slows down the game enough that would scare me in a 7-game series. I think so. I've been saying for a minute now, probably longer than most. I think they can come out of the Western Conference. I still just don't know if they have the physicality and the firepower to stay in a series with a Milwaukee or a Boston. But I mean, that's a long ways off. You know what I mean? And if we get there, we're all going to be pretty happy that they're sitting there. You know what I mean?
If Denver, and I know they've had some wobbles lately, they had a big win last night. They maybe don't scare me, but they certainly have my attention. But yeah, if that's the strongest criticism we have of the Kings, that, boy, they would struggle against Milwaukee, then obviously they've made great progress. Man, that team is really good.
Yeah, they are.
They lead in defensive rating on every portion of the floor.
For sure. We'll get back to some Kings talk and the Kevin Huerter injury. We haven't talked about that till today. If you didn't hear it in Simone's update at the top of the hour, scary moment last night. He leaves with the hamstring injury. Adrian Wojnarowski saying today the MRIs are negative. He's day-to-day, which I think is best case scenario when you see a guy limp off the court. But we'll talk about the injury, latest on that, and the ramifications of that coming up at 3 o'clock. And Jordi Fernandez, Kings assistant coach, he'll be joining us at 4 o'clock. We'll switch gears a little bit, talk some 49ers with Jason Aponte of Niners Nation and the Sprint Right Option podcast. He'll join Cattles and Rami next.
It's Chris and Company with Chris Watkins.
Aaron Rodgers this guy is something else, man. I definitely was fully prepared for today to be a nothing day. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. I'm glad that we can all move on with our lives now. The Jets have a quarterback. He's 38, 39 years old. Congrats.
Chris and Company with Chris Watkins. Weekdays from 10 to 11.
On Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Eileen Javor in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. A good-looking afternoon ahead of us as we see those temperatures warming into the mid and upper 60s. Some clearing into tonight. We'll start the day sunny for Saturday with clouds in the afternoon. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Protecting your home and your wallet just got easier. Get $100 off any qualifying heating and cooling system repair. And keep your home the best place in the world. Schedule an appointment today. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Yeah, I'm so stressed. Our business is growing. We've got people all over now.
Ooma.
What is that? Meditation?
I'm recommending the Ooma cloud phone system with auto attendant and more than 50 features.
Ooma?
Yep. Switching to Ooma is a cinch. Just $24.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Now you're feeling it. Find small business calm at ooma.com/radio. That's OOMA.com/radio.
It's Truck Month at Maida Chevy with exclusive all-in-stock pricing on a huge selection of new 2022 and 23 half-ton Silverados in stock, ready to go. See all the savings at MaidaChevy.com. Find new roads.
331.23. This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home, and the men who use PTO to catch afternoon basketball in March with the boys. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Goldfield Trading Post, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, and Wood Home Furnishings.
Family-owned Clark & Rush, celebrating 60 years of serving Sacramento. It's time to convert your gas water heater and furnace to electric. Just turn to the experts at Clark & Rush and Carrier. We electrify more homes than any other contractor in Sacramento. Plus, we'll help you get up to $6,500 in utility rebates. We'll even do the paperwork. Call or visit clark-rush.com.
Smart energy savings is what we do. Clark & Rush.
Call 916-245-2829.
When was the last time you heard of a new car for only $298 a month? How about today at Elk Grove Kia? Your choice, 2023 Kia Forte GT or 2023 Kia Soul EX for only $298 a month. Incredible. With Elk Grove Kia's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Why would you buy anywhere else? Worried about credit? Elk Grove Kia specializes in helping folks get the credit they deserve. No credit, little credit, bad credit, no problem. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, repos, no problem. Looking for the hard-to-find models, Tellurides, K5s, EV6s? Check us out online at elkgrovekia.com or come see us at the Elk Grove Auto Mall today.
2023 Kia Soul EX 298 plus tax, 48 month lease, $31.95 customer cash to assigning residual of $15,603.80 based on 10K per year, 20 cents per mile over. Payment based on 01740 plus FICO score. Kia finance approval. With this payment, GK 858 2023 Kia Forte GT 298 plus tax, 36 month lease, $39.95 customer cash to assigning residual of $13,140 based on 10K per year. Payment at 01740 plus FICO score. Subject to Kia finance approval. With this payment, GK 8581 both expire 3/31/23.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to make your love life the best it can be. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 916-545-7577. That's 916-545-7577.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Team business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. Tons of Friday fun and madness to be had as we check in on busted brackets, drop the latest NFL hot takes, and get you ready for the weekend. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. We have Jason Aponte of Niners Nation joins the fellas right now.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Rami
on Sactown Sports.
That's the show. Cattle's out in Vegas. JJ out there as well. You heard Simone on the update. Kyle, other side of the glass. Kevin Whitey Gleason in for Nick this afternoon. Your Western Conference wraparound magic number update coming up in just about 15 minutes. You can watch us, give us those thumbs up, the likes over at youtube.com/Sactown Sports. And if you go over there right now, you'll see our guest from Niners Nation and the Sprint Right Option podcast, Jason Aponte, joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda Hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Jason, how are you this afternoon, my man?
I'm great. Thank you guys for having me. It's a wonderful time with free agency and the draft coming up.
Our pleasure. It is. It's speculation season in the NFL, as I call it. One thing we don't have to speculate on, Javon Hargrave is a 49er. I was surprised by that move, but the 49ers tend to make surprising moves. Did that catch you off guard?
For me, not so much. I mean, the 49ers have developed a bit of a pattern with going out on the first day and identifying their guy. Now, whether that guy turns out to be an impact player or not, I think this is the biggest name that they've gotten. But the names that you can come to mind are Malcolm Smith, Jerick McKinnon. Those didn't work out. But when you look at last year, it was Mooney Ward, and that worked out very well. So they had a plan, and they kind of stick to it. The first day is like they go after someone that they target. I just didn't expect it to be a name like that, which was probably the biggest free agent on the market.
Jason, I know we're not even to minicamp yet, but looking at the roster as currently constructed, where do you think the strength of this roster is, and where is it weakest?
It's offensive. I mean, you can't really improve more on Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, McCaffrey. Of course, the offensive line, there's still a little bit of a question at right tackle. Everything else is kind of set, especially with Jake Brendel being back. I would say right now the weakest is probably edge. I know that the 49ers are expecting a big jump from Drake Jackson, and I think we all believe that that'll happen. But having an established speed rusher to complement Nick Bosa, Armstead, and Hargrave would be impactful. And I think the 49ers are trying to get back to that 2019 formula of Buckner, Armstead, Bosa, and Ford. There is someone that's out there, I believe, that can fill that role while they wait for Drake Jackson to develop and also draft someone who can possibly be an impact player if they so need.
Do you wonder if, because obviously Javon Hargrave, a difference maker, and they needed some push up the middle, and they needed somebody next to Nick Bosa to give offensive lines and offenses as a whole something else to worry about. But we know that the salary cap is an issue that teams have to deal with in the NFL. And when you sign to Javon Hargrave, you have to make tough decisions, like saying bye to a Jimmy Ward, an Emmanuel Mosley, a Charles Omenihu, Azeez Al-Shaair. Do you wonder if maybe they're giving up too much to try and bring in a Javon Hargrave type of player?
I don't think so. I think they kind of braved for these departures. I think that they would compete if the market was correct. But when you see what Omenihu got, when you see what Ebukam got, that clearly put them out there. What the 49ers have been known to do is just build the depth. You see T.Y. McGill come back. Kevin Givens has returned. You have rotational pieces. I would expect a Kerry Hyder or Jordan Willis to be brought back in, if not both. And then you get yourself that edge. So I think they were prepared for all of this. And the reason that they're able to make a move for Hargrave is because their quarterback room is the cheapest in the league. I mean, you look around, the going rate is about $25-30 million for, let's just say, Jimmy Garoppolo, right? And they're paying, I think, for all three, under $15 million at this point. So the way that they're able to move around and give more money to Hargrave is because their quarterback room is so cheap right now with all three.
Well, speaking of that quarterback situation, such as it is, what advice would you have for a 49er fan who's feeling conflicted over the signing of Sam Darnold?
If you're conflicted, I think it's because you realize that Sam Darnold has a ton of potential and you believe in the coach that can actually bring that out. But I do think that competition is healthy. I do think this is someone that Kyle Shanahan has coveted for a while. There's been a report out there that he tried to send a first-round pick to the Jets for Sam Darnold. Let's just say thank you that didn't happen, and he got him this way. But competition is good for either way, and it does kind of feel like a Geno Smith situation in Seattle in which you kind of take a shot on a guy. You still have your Russell Wilson. You still have the guy that you believe in, and if you do get into those traits, we have to remember that the 49ers are the best at getting guys open. Debo's wide open. Ayuk's wide open. Kittle's wide open. We know Sam has the tools. I think it comes down to decision-making. But I feel that competition is good. And if Trey Lance is what you think he is, if Brock Purdy is what you think he is, then there shouldn't be anything to worry about.
Let me ask you this. It's a two-part hypothetical question. And that's very meta, but that's how we roll here.
It's Friday.
It's Friday. Right. So, A, Do you think there is open competition between Sam Darnold and Trey Lance to start the season? Because we know about Brock Purdy's injury situation, and best case scenario, he's ready by September. So I'm assuming somebody other than Brock Purdy is starting week 1. Do you think there's a chance Sam Darnold wins that job from Trey Lance? And whether it's Darnold or Trey Lance, do you think it's possible either of those guys performs well enough that even when Purdy is healthy, he doesn't necessarily get his starting job back?
Ooh, man, it is Friday. Okay, so the first part of this, the first part of this is I definitely believe it's a competition. But if you and I and many 49er fans believe Trey Lance is what he is supposed to be, then he should win this, right? Sure. And I do think that there is a chance that if Trey Lance beats out Sam Darnold, which I expect, and I don't want to say I fully expect, but I believe in his talent and I believe in the kid. But if Trey Lance goes out there and becomes what they thought they were getting with the 3rd pick, then you make it awfully hard to turn it right back over to Brock Purdy. But I will say this, being at the Combine, listening to, John Lynch speak, listening to the team speak about Brock Purdy, you're going to have a hard time trying to assuage this locker room to not play Brock Purdy. George Kittle was on a podcast saying, I don't know how you bench a guy who's never lost a game. In the NFC Championship game, he was hurt in the 3rd play, so he said he didn't really attribute it to that. But I do think there is a way that Trey Lance makes that decision incredibly hard, and I think that's what the 49ers actually would like to invite, is Trey Lance starts to scratch that surface, and now you have a difficult decision to make. If you have to turn it right back over to Brock Purdy, then you've got a bigger issue, I believe.
Okay, Jason, the Jimmy G era in San Francisco, it's finally officially over. So if you had to sum up the Garoppolo era as a 49er quarterback in, I don't know, 3 words or less, how would you do it? What would you say?
Ups and downs. But I do think that 49er fans kind of forget the time before Jimmy Garoppolo, meaning CJ Beathard, Brian Hoyer, and those years in between with Chip Kelly and Jim Tomsula. And Jimmy was a shot in the arm, stabilized the organization, gave fans hope, electrified Levi's Stadium, and they won a bunch of games. Now, obviously, we know that it didn't result in the ultimate. And you said 3 words, and here I am just like babbling on. I'm sorry. But
no, you're right. You gave the 3. This is totally acceptable. Yeah, totally acceptable. Yeah.
I just feel that Jimmy Garoppolo has been a punching bag for a long time. With people losing sight of what he brought to this team and how many games that he did win, I'm choosing to remember the good times, and there were ups and downs. I'm choosing to remember the wins. There were a lot of great signature wins. My favorite personal Jimmy Garoppolo game, and I know everybody says it's the Saints, but it's got to be that Week 18 game against the Los Angeles Rams, battling back and with the season on the line, with the injury being fresh, not knowing if he was going to play all week, and being able to come back and win that game. That is my all-time favorite Jimmy Garoppolo moment, and that's why I'm going to choose to remember him.
Yeah, I think mine would be better than believed. To your point of Jimmy's time here, I thought he did a lot of really good things ultimately.
Jason Aponte, Niners Nation, our guest for a couple more minutes here on Cattles and Rami. Actually, last one for you, Jason. Free agency, not in the rear view now, but the major moves have been made. The next big postmark on the NFL calendar will now be the NFL draft. I don't remember exactly what the number was. I want to say 11 draft picks they now have with the compensation picks. Any chance you think they try and stack up a couple of those and move up, or is this about restocking the cupboard and rebuilding that depth that you talked about to start this interview?
It's a little bit of both, I think, at this point. I think the 49ers are in a spot where there are some impact edge rushers that can be brought in on one-year deals that would come cheap because they're ready to chase a ring. The one name that I keep bringing up is Justin Houston from Baltimore, was used as a situational pass rusher last year, 11 sacks. His snap share went down, and somehow he had more pressures. He's somebody who you can add in. Now, if you have a Justin Houston, you add to that edge, your needs in the draft actually become fewer. Now, you sign Isaiah Oliver, nickel corner. You still have Samuel Womack. I would like to see them add one more cornerback to this secondary. But if your needs are fewer because of free agency, now you can stack up. And let's not forget, for the first time in a long time, 49er fans, they have a first round and second round pick next year. Imagine that. So there is, on top of the 5 comp picks that they got from all the departures and hires, all of the 11 picks that they have now, they certainly have the ammo to go up and identify an impact player in the second round and move up if they so choose.
That's Jason Aponte. Check out Niners Nation and the Sprint Right Option podcast. Follow him on Twitter at Jason Aponte2103, joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Jason, really appreciate the time and the insight, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for having me, and have a great day.
Appreciate it. There's Jason Aponte of Niners Nation and the Sprint Right Option podcast. Quick break, back to some NBA talk, our Western Conference whip around, magic number update, and how did we not get to that? All coming up. Cattles and Rami.
Cattles and Rami. Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
I'm Eric Armstead, and you're listening to Sactown Sports.
Armstead with relentless pursuit, and Eric Armstead came in and sacked him. You wanted more Niners?
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's new home for the 49ers.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Ram Truck Month?
This month, you can save up to $10,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. Plus, we have over 600 new Ram trucks available, which means we have the truck you want at the price that will work for you. That's what makes us California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation.
Oh, with all the options in Sacramento, how does Hoblet manage to be the #1 Ram truck dealer over and over again?
Well, our true pricing policy is a big part of it. The price you see is the price you pay. No bait and switch or surprise add-ons like other places. Plus, we know times are getting harder, which is why we don't mark up our trucks like everyone else.
Hey, if you're tired of being taken advantage of or just being the next sucker, come experience the difference at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at hobletdodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
Hello, YouTube people. Can you hear me? Okay, guys. Hi. This is so weird. Okay, we're going to keep testing it over here, and then we're going to get better. Maybe drop a video, a camera in here. Just hang tight. Okay.
Hi, YouTube people. It's Kyle. Hi. So we're Simone's also here. We're gonna do some live stuff during YouTube. If you want to drop questions, if you want us to talk about anything, just let us know. We'll pop on now and again. Let's see who else is here.
It's gonna be fun. What a Friday! I'm excited.
Simone gets to do her own private show for all of the wonderful.
Don't say
YouTube
it like
people.
Jesus.
Yeah. No, I get it. I get it. That was, I'm going to say that was intentional.
That's pretty good, Kyle.
That was like Malik Monk and De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to say that I was doing it on purpose.
Like the beam, baby. Kentucky.
Scoot, hold those questions, and we're gonna come back and we'll get into it after the next break. All right?
One brings Macloth magic, while the other, we're still trying to figure that out.
Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
To the Edwin Diaz. During conference, is my mic on? Are we doing this on the air?
No, it was not.
Oh, okay. I think it is now. It is now, right?
It is now,
Okay.
yes.
I was trying to talk to you off the air. That's all right, though. We'll get to Edwin Diaz in just a second. And how did we not get to that? Oh, that's the greatest intro music ever. And you're not going to hear it for a while. We'll tell you why in just a second. I wanted to do our Western Conference whip around. Do we have our NBA on NBC music fired up and ready to go for our Western Conference whip around on the Cattles and Rami show? Hit the music. There it is. Oh, baby. Woo. Probably the best sports theme music ever.
You know the words, right?
Basketball. Yeah, of course I know the words. Come on, Whitey Gleason. And for Nick Cattles today, there wasn't a lot of action in the NBA and the Western Conference last night, and especially not a lot of action as it pertains to the Sacramento Kings and trying to lock up a playoff spot. The Nuggets were in action last night. They end their losing streak over the Pistons, 119-100, so you don't gain any ground on the one seed Denver Nuggets. Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that. And yeah, I got a magic number for the one seed. It's 18.
Yeah, you and I and Simone and Kyle and then whoever. I think we'd give the Pistons a go right now.
You think
we
so?
We might not beat them, but I think we give them a go.
How's the jumper, Whitey? How's the jumper these days?
If Wiseman's guarding me, I'm going to have a good night. Let me just put it that way.
Okay. Fair enough. The only other game that had anything to do with the Kings in the Western Conference last night was the Phoenix Suns. They topped the Orlando Magic 116-113. You caught that one? Was it a good game?
I got tired of March Madness, and then I watched that game. It was a tremendous game.
Nice. The Thunder were in action last night. That's the only other Western Conference action. They fall to the Raptors 128-111. If you were worried about the Thunder, they lost again. So you should be a little less worried about the Thunder. Now, have you been following the magic number as we update it every day on the Cattles and Rami show?
I get too anxious. I have to wait till later in the year. I get too anxious to be locked into that.
Not here on Cattles and Rami. I've been updating the magic number for weeks. For weeks here.
Where are we?
Well, I gave you the one seed magic number. That's 18. That's a little silly, right? We shouldn't talk about the one seed.
Pacific Division magic number.
I should add that. I should add a Pacific Division magic number.
Whitey's on top of his game.
What kind of outfit is this? Because I've already gotten chastised for having too many magic numbers, Whitey. But nobody here to chastise me today. It's
exact opposite. We're saying he doesn't have enough magic numbers.
More magic numbers. Yeah. The magic number to clinch a playoff spot. Whitey Gleason and the rest of Sacramento. Drum roll, please. It was 7 yesterday. It's 6 today, ladies and gentlemen. The magic number to clinch a playoff spot is 6 as we sit here.
So that's any combination
March
of
17th.
Kings wins
and I forget who's the 7 seed today. It changes on a day-to-day basis. It is Minnesota. Any combination of Kings wins and Minnesota losses that adds up to 6. Oh, man. Means you are in the playoffs.
Deal.
Sacramento. Yes, sir. It gets even better, Whitey. This number didn't move, but I told you yesterday, for the first time, the magic number to clinch a home playoff series.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Drum roll, please. Hit single digits for the first time yesterday. It's 8 games. The magic number is 8 to get a home playoff series in Sacramento. Top 3 seed. Magic number was 10 yesterday. Drum roll, please. It's down to 9 today. It's down to 9 today, and to clinch the 2 seed, that number was 15 yesterday. Magic number to clinch the 2 seed is down to 14. These numbers get more and more realistic.
I need my Pacific Division.
Every day. I'll work on it. You know what? I'm going to work on it, and I'm going to give it to you before we get out of here today. I promise you I'll get you a Pacific Division Magic number before we get out of here.
They used to hang division banners in the arena here. I don't know if they would now, but they actually have a history of hanging division championship banners.
I did say last week on the show, I'm here to hang banners, baby.
Okay.
I'm not here for moral victories. I'm here to
right.
hang banners. If it's a division banner, then I'll take that too.
Okay.
You can always give us the likes over there at youtube.com/Sactown Sports. Please, we need to be liked. Please go over there and just hit that little thumbs up. That's our Western Conference whip round. Do we have an open for How Did We Miss That? Or no? I forget what we have opens for. I'm not usually in this chat.
I don't know either. Someone would have had to tell me.
Okay, well, every week there's something that slips through the cracks. And then on Friday, we're like, how'd we not get to that? Yeah. And this week, it was what went down at the World Baseball Classic. Do we have that, Kyle? The low light of what happened to Edwin Diaz? Did we ever get that? This has been a fun segment. This is good. This is live radio, ladies and gentlemen.
For a minute when you were saying, do we have an open? I thought you were asking me. And I was like, dude.
We're on timeout from trying to do the YouTube anymore, too.
Yeah. Simone and Kyle are doing some YouTube content during the breaks, which is great. That's cool. We want to drive up those numbers, but let's have this stuff ready to go. Before we go to do the YouTube show. Okay, this was a couple days ago at the World Baseball Classic as Puerto Rico gets a big victory, but then tragedy strikes.
So the Dominican players, they're on top step right now, fearing for him and feeling for him as well. Oh, no.
So that was the Mets closer going down with what appears to be, I can't find exactly what the injury was. I tried this morning and I was trying again during the break, but it appears to be a serious knee injury. Kyle, you have more detail?
So I believe it is a torn patellar tendon.
Ooh, I've done that.
You've torn your patellar tendon before?
I've torn my patella tendon before. It's not.
That's the one in front, right?
Yeah, and it literally just feels like your leg is hanging from the knee down. Like you have no control over like bending.
Like attaches your kneecap.
It's just angling.
Man. Yeah, and that would explain why he had multiple teammates carrying him off the mound after the injury at the World Baseball Classic because he just couldn't move the leg.
And
he was what is he celebrating?
Yeah, it was during the celebration that he stepped on a teammate's ankle, foot, leg, and it took a weird bend and
it was almost grammatic and
some people might not like what I'm about to say. I hate the World Baseball Classic. I hate it, Whitey. I don't know about you. And I generally hate. Now, don't take this wrong. All right. I love America.
Happy Friday, everybody.
I love America, ladies and gentlemen. All right. The Arab guy on the station loves America. Don't take this the wrong way. Okay.
You've cleared yourself, Rami. You're good.
I'm a patriot. I love America. I love patriotism. But to me, Whitey, sport for country is a grift, man. It's a grift. I don't believe in sport for country. I think it's a huge cash grab. They just slap flags on it and play it. They tug at your heartstrings. They play on your emotions for people who do love their country as I do. And it's pointless, man. These guys the Mets paid this dude and Mets fans paid this dude in terms of how much of their belief and hope that they put in him for what might finally be a great season. And now the Mets and Mets fans go into their season without one of the best closers in all of baseball so that he could go and play for his country. And I know, hey, man, it means different things to different people. I'm not here to mock anybody's beliefs, but I've never thought that winning a soccer game, winning at the Olympics, winning a baseball game did anything to make America or any other place any better. You know what I mean?
This is a hot take.
To me, the whole thing is a sham. The whole thing is a sham, and Edwin Diaz got hurt and basically ruined the Mets and their fan season for nothing, for basically nothing, man. Call me crazy.
I just think sports at their best, they do bring people together. And I think the World Baseball Classic, it's not as popular here as it is in other countries, but somewhere people just set a record for the most people who dyed their hair blonde. And it was one of the countries in the World Baseball Classic and supported their team. And I'm not sure I have the country right, so I don't want to say. People in other countries, they love it. And people, some of the players from the other countries, it means a lot to them. So I think there's some upside there. You're right, of course, but that's all sports are now. Other than at the purely amateur level, it's just about making money.
Sure.
It would terrify me if I owned a team, like if I owned the Padres, and I have Manny Machado wants to play for the Dominican, and so does Soto, and I got all these guys, and Yu Darvish is playing for Japan, and they don't know when he's going to be ready to go. But it works. I mean, and people get excited about it. If you can get people excited about anything, having anything to do with baseball nowadays, I think you have to do it.
Beyond an Edwin Diaz-like injury, I just don't want, if I'm an owner, a GM, a coach, a manager, I don't want those miles. I don't want those innings. I don't want those innings on a pitcher's arms. I don't want those miles on a guy's legs running around the bases or out in the outfield. You know what I mean?
And you have that right, I think, as an owner, but the owner who does that, Mark Cuban used to talk about this with like Nowitzki, playing international basketball. The owner who does that all of a sudden for the, players is like, well, don't play for that guy. He won't let you play for your country. I agree with you. Owners have that right, but it's dangerous for them to exercise.
And that's a big investment that these guys are just sending over there.
But you're the fun guy, Rami. You're the one who likes these types of spectacle events.
You know what's fun? Hit Edwin Diaz's entrance music. That's fun. That's fun to me. That's fun. And you know what? We're not going to hear that.
You can play it now when they wheel him down the hospital, on the gurney. Right? Ready for his next MRI or whatever.
Damn, Whitey.
It makes him feel better.
That's a really funny image of someone carrying him in the wheelchair down.
He'll love this. And he's like flipping him off and things,
Damn, I thought that dark joke would be coming out of my mouth. That's Whitey Gleason, ladies and gentlemen. In for Nick Cattles today on the Cattles and Rami show. We'll get back to some Kings talk right after this. Jordi Fernandez, Kings assistant coach, he's going to join us at 4. But after this, we'll have the latest on that Kevin Huerter injury. How did the Kings handle it? And what are some of the repercussions of it? Cattles and Rami on a Friday. Back after this on Sactown Sports.
Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports. Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
For your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hi, guys. It's Mark with Coastside Medical Clinic. Are you struggling with ED and sick of the pills? Well, we have a major medical advancement that has helped thousands of men. Our WAVE technology is backed by 60 clinical studies, including from Cambridge University. It's been shown to increase blood flow by repairing blood vessels. No pills and no side effects. If you're ready to put a stop to your ED, call us now. And not only will the assessment and blood flow ultrasound be free, but we'll also include something unique that produces powerful results. You're going to love that one, guys. Trust me. This unprecedented offer is worth $600, but it's free to those who call in the next 2 minutes. Call 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000. Guys, put a stop to your ED and get your life back. Call Coastside Medical Clinic now to qualify. 916-603-2000. That's 916-603-2000.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa.
Now through March 21st, new customers can get 1 gig internet on the Xfinity 10G network. It's just $30 a month for 2 years when you add mobile with unlimited data. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
Jiffy Lube's Country in the Park, Northern California's biggest country music festival of the year, is back May 5th and 6th at Cal Expo, starring Lady A, Chris Young, Brett Eldridge, and so many more. Plus, a Boots Boot and Line Dance Saloon, interactive lounges, and Sacramento's best food trucks. Weekend passes start at just $85. Tickets are on sale now at SactownSports.com. Country in the Park, brought to you by Goldfield Trading Post, Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, and Richard Wood Home Furnishings.
Are you staying warm and comfortable this winter? Take advantage of American Energy's $49 furnace tune-up today. Make sure your furnace is running efficiently and safely with that'll save you money in the long run and help prevent major repairs and replacements down the road. American Energy, as always, been in Sacramento since 1981. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Make the uncomfortable comfortable. And you tell me good buddy Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento, the flagship station of your Sacramento Kings.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports. Sactown Sports.
Headlines. It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot.
Team business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital, taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports, with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. Tons of Friday fun and madness to be had as we check in on busted brackets, talk Kings, and get you ready for the weekend. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome into Cattles and Rami with special guest Whitey Gleason.
Cattles and Rami.
Cattles and Rami. Cattles and Rami.
Sacktown Sports.
Hour 2, Cattles and Rami. You heard from Simone, Whitey Gleason, and for Nick Cattles this afternoon. I'm the Rami in Cattles and Rami. Later this hour, 3:30 to be exact. We'll go on the record. All sports shows make predictions. We keep track of them. We keep batting averages. And we'll do that at 3:30. Also at 4 o'clock, Kings assistant coach Jordi Fernandez will join us. We missed Coach yesterday with the short show, so he'll join us this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Speaking of the Kings, we have an update on Kevin Huerter. Whitey, you were asking during Simone's update, what does it mean that an MRI came back clean? I can tell you what it means. Not because I'm smart, but because I can read, because I'm smart enough to read. That's the only qualification to give you the update on Kevin Huerter. And this from the Kings. Kevin Huerter underwent MRI imaging this morning, and MR imaging revealed a mild strain of the popliteus muscle and no hamstring injury. The injury was sustained during the first quarter of Thursday's game versus the Brooklyn Nets. Hate it when you...
Popliteus was one of my favorite characters on Game of Thrones.
All right.
One of my favorites. Yeah.
Hate it when I stray the old popliteus.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bad.
Oh, it's hard. That's tough, man. And at our age, why do you that
Right.
popliteus?
Yeah.
That could go out at any moment. You know what I mean? You could just be
It's
walking.
embarrassing. You're walking, someone says, "Yeah, problems with the popliteus."
Popliteus?
Like,
Yeah,
isn't
man.
that obvious?
It's tough. It's tough. That old popliteus can go out at any moment. But in all seriousness,
this is good news.
It's good news. Probably best case scenario when you see a guy walk, limp off the court and not return.
Right.
And they tell you he's going to get an MRI. It's all you're always on eggshells until you hear what the MRI says.
Especially guy's been playing so well.
Been so good for him, man. He's been so good for him. And so when you call it day to day, to me, this comes down to treatment, pain management. And Whitey, when you get to this point in the season and you have to start thinking about the playoffs, you have to think about the approach you take to injuries. As a player, you always want to get back out there on the court as quickly as possible. Sometimes a coaching staff, a training staff, a front office has to sort of rein a guy in and pull him back and keep an eye on the big picture. If you're the Kings, do you try and push this thing, get Kevin Huerter back as quick as possible, or are the playoffs sure enough a thing that you would sort of play it safe, slow play it, make sure he's good to go before he gets back out there on the court?
Riddle me this. Yeah. How important is Kevin Huerter to your chances of getting as far as you can?
I mean, he's really, really important. Why I'm stating the obvious, but at the same
I'm with you.
But at the same time, there are two parts to answering that question. My follow-up on answering that question. One is there was a stretch of about 2 months where Kevin Huerter wasn't great. He was almost invisible when you look at the way he was shooting compared to the way he's shooting now and to start the season. And they still found ways to win basketball games. Going back to what we talked about earlier, they seem to always find ways to consistently win basketball games, whether it's, the threes aren't falling or a game like last night, they find ways. And the other part of that is if you're making the point that Kevin Huerter is so important that we need to preserve him for the playoffs, I would say to you, it's pretty important that you win games heading to the playoffs to get the best seeding that you can possibly get, which is a case for bringing him back as quickly as you can possibly bring him back. Does all that rambling make sense?
It makes perfect sense.
Okay.
I think the magnitude of his importance to the team can be described in only one word, which of course is Poplitean. But I do think, in all seriousness, he's at this point, you do have a little bit of a cushion. And by all means, unless you go into some unforeseen tailspin, you definitely want to make sure you give him every opportunity to heal 100%. As you know, better than I am sure, because you talk about it every day, the Kings have been just about the healthiest team in the NBA this year. That's been key to the success. So if you have a chance to make sure that Red Velvet gets 100%, Red Velvet as I call him, then absolutely you're going to give him every opportunity to do that. You should have that if this, the MRI news is as favorable as it is.
Yes, and again,
I'm not rushing anybody back.
The Popliteus.
Yeah.
The Popliteus. I'm looking at it right now, and it's
a Greek god.
No, I'm talking about the muscle, Kyle, not the origin of the word, man. This isn't a spelling bee. I was like, origin of the word, please. No, this is. I was talking about the muscle.
Yeah,
it looks like a muscle that wraps around the back of the leg that goes almost from like
I've never heard that term, and the
hamstring down to the calf around the back of the leg is what I'm.
My wife
at
works at a hospital, and so my mom used to, and I've been to the hospital, and yet I've never heard that word before.
Popliteus.
Popliteus.
Wow.
Yeah. Popliteus. Spell it, Simone. Can you spell it without
Yeah,
looking?
absolutely. Well, I am looking. You want me to?
Well, that's really hard.
Never mind. You're cheating.
Do you want me to try then? P-A-P.
You're already wrong. Do you have a buzzer to hit yourself with?
The whammy.
No, depth is one of the keys to this team's success.
For sure.
Yeah.
But so then the next question becomes, because I'm with you. I'd play it safe. I would.
Okay.
Unless things got desperate. I really want a home series. So if I have to push him back to make sure I lock up a home series, then maybe I push him back. But other than that, no, I think the cushion is enough that I'd play it safe. In the meantime, though, every game does matter. Why do you when we look at the standings and how tight they are, they're making the playoffs. I locked that in and guaranteed that weeks and weeks ago. They're making.
Oh, you guarantee?
Yes. Okay. So then it was going to happen.
All right. Okay.
So they're making the playoffs.
They're going to win the division.
Yeah, I think they're going to. I have to get you that magic number,
Okay.
the Pacific Division number. If they need all the firepower that they can get to lock up a home series, I might push them back. But until then, I do think that every game matters. You want the 2 seed if you can get it, and at least a home court series. In the meantime, to win these games? Who are you looking at to pick up that slack for as good as Kevin Huerter has been till now?
Well, obviously, it's a little bit different position-wise, but Kessler Edwards is picking up some of the slack.
Yeah, he is.
The TD will probably get a shot, although I don't think Coach Brown appreciates the way TD is when it comes to the D part of it. And then Davion, will have some opportunities. But you need that shooting. So, and of those guys, Terrence Davis, I think, is best suited to supply that.
You know who they really need to heat up? Especially for as long as Kevin Huerter is out, for however long that might be. Man, Keegan Murray has really, really cooled off after he was on quite the heater. I'm looking at his game log right now, and he had 11 against Brooklyn last night, but also didn't play most of the last 4.5 minutes. That's who got that's whose minutes Kessler Edwards got last night in the closing minutes of that game. And before that 11-point performance last night, he hadn't had double digits since the Thursday game against the Knicks.
Has he run splat into that rookie wall?
I don't think I wouldn't go so far as to call it a wall, because that would imply that he's not going to, you hit a wall, you don't rebound from that. I think this is just the ebbs and flows, the lulls that you'll run into as a rookie. I think he probably has a second breath in him, so to speak, to hopefully to close out the season and in the playoffs. But especially when you talk about the 3-point shooting that you're missing with Kevin Huerter, you're talking about a guy in Keegan Murray who's carried. And as a matter of fact, when Kevin Huerter was struggling in shooting the three, that's when Keegan Murray was his hottest, in December and January and into February. That's when Keegan, well, actually, no, it was January, February.
Does he still have a shot at Donovan Mitchell's rookie record for
I think he does. I think he does, actually. So that it would really, really work out well if Keegan Murray heated up here and found that 3-point stroke again for however long it is that they're going to be without Kevin Huerter. It doesn't
sound like it's going to be long necessarily, right? I mean, hamstrings sometimes but this news sounds like it's reasonable to think Huerter would be back sooner rather than later. By the way, and I know I mentioned this to you off air, but yesterday I was watching the Kings play the Nets, and then Iowa was playing at the same time. So commercials, I'd flip back and forth, and then flip over to Iowa, and there's Chris, Keegan's twin, and I was like, "What?" It just shocked me for a minute. Obviously he's like, "Yeah, it's a swim," but I had to tell my wife, "Look at that." She's like, "Whoa!"
Same thing happened to you, Kyle. Kyle's over there shaking his head.
Exact same thing, because I hadn't watched any Iowa basketball this year, and so I turned it on. I'm like, "Oh my God, that's Keegan."
Yeah,
I mean, I'm stating
you traded him to Iowa.
I'm stating the obvious here because they're identical twins. But
yes,
they are really. I mean, like,
oh yeah.
I've known identical twins, and I can tell them apart.
But one shoots with the left and one shoots with the right. It's really cute.
Really? I didn't even know that, Simone.
Fun fact.
I did not even know that. Somebody should, how they do like the superimposed video? Somebody should put like superimposed video of Chris over Keegan.
When I saw Chris was just like he was getting back on defense or something. So he had that look, and the look in the eyes, and it's like, whoa, exactly that.
He smiles a little bit more. He's a little bit more emotive for sure than Keegan.
If I had a brother who I was that identical to, I would just scam
You'd be
it.
A menace.
I would just scam it, man. I'd go all the way through my NBA career, not just like in grade school, high school. Because think about it, that's 2 sets of legs, man. If you have NBA talent and 2 sets of legs, like, coach, I gotta go to the bathroom, coach. And Keegan runs back, Chris runs out with fresh legs for the second quarter.
But they shoot differently. It won't work.
We'll work it out, Simone. Don't worry about
My cousins, Jim and Joe McCaslin, identical twins, and they went to Jesuit, and one would take a test for the other one if he needed to, and they were both on a basketball team after they got done. Like Jim played like on the Jesuit team. Joe wasn't much of a basketball player, but sometimes if Jim couldn't make, it's like, Joe, can you cover for me at the game? And and they just wouldn't tell anybody. And then after a few weeks, somebody goes, sometimes you're really good. And then other weeks, it's like you're a different guy. What's going on? And you said, you're hot and you're cold. What are you going to do?
You didn't confess to it, just kept it going.
It's like, I know. Boy, good days and bad days. What can I tell you?
Deny, Kyle. Deny. You never admit to your crimes, especially not these days. You don't admit to your crimes.
I think one of the Canseco twins showed up to a fight for the other one before.
Yes, Ozzy showed up for Jose, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. And people are like, dude, you're like 4 inches shorter.
And they had different tattoos.
And they had different tattoos. You're not pulling that off.
I think the Morris twins may have committed a crime together.
I'd watch them sometimes, Marcus and Markeith, and I think, no, they switched. I can tell they switched.
That happened in the playoffs. When Marcus was on the Celtics, people were assuming that Markeith was playing for him.
I'd definitely do it if we were both NBA players and one made the playoffs and the other didn't. We're definitely swapping every half or every quarter throughout the playoffs, man. Fresh legs. And you do it under the table, a little extra cash.
Yeah.
Why not? Right after this, earlier in the week, we never played it, but JJ Redick apologized to Kings Nation. Is JJ the only one who should be apologizing in 90 seconds?
Cattles
and Rami.
Sactown Sports. It's Deuce and Mo.
It's obvious.
What?
It's almost as obvious as Mike Brown for Coach of the Year.
Ooh, here we go.
Sean Cunningham's not so certain about that, apparently. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man?
I mean, first of all, Mike Brown probably doesn't want it. Secondly, I don't have a vote, so calm down, folks, and it's an opinion. And
I know. I just want to change your opinion. I want to have that influence over you. I'm the puppet master.
I mean, look.
Deuce and Mo. Weekdays from 11 to 2 on Sactown Sports.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When you take the time to shop at Folsom Lake Honda, there's one thing you'll always find: happy people ready to serve you. As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too. Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda, yeah, your one-stop Honda shop.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Rami.
On Sactown Sports.
That's the show. Rami here. Cattles in Vegas.
Who's a big Foo Fighters fan?
I'm a big Foo Fighters fan. Cattles
nice
enjoys them as well. Is this a Kyle selection or is this in the regular?
No, this is just in the database right now.
Regular. Only I've sang so far on the Cattles and Rami show. I did my Red Hot Chili Peppers, my Anthony Kiedis impression, which is just gibberish. It's just babble. That's Whitey Gleason, in case you didn't know. And for Nick Cattles, you can get in on the show. Phones open 800-920-1140. Text 916-339-1140. Comment at the YouTube page, youtube.com/Sactown Sports. I'm looking at you. Give us those likes. I haven't read any real. I'm bad at that because Nick usually does that. He's usually the guy reading the YouTube comments. Scooter says, Rami, how'd the open mic go? It was good. Kyle showed up. Simone's reaction to Kyle showing up was the funniest thing of the night. Funnier than anything.
He scared me. He scared me. I didn't know he was coming.
He was startled. Let's see. Scooter also says Keegan needs 27 threes to tie the record. You're asking about the Donovan Mitchell, not Donovan. I keep mixing up Donovan and Davion Mitchell. Donovan Mitchell's rookie record for 3-pointers. That's about 2 per game, he says. Tall Chinese guy says opponents always target him on defense. No wall, just rookie. Yeah, I mean,
that certainly happened last night.
Do you think it's a rookie wall or do you think it's just a swoon, so to speak, a lull?
I'm like you. I don't believe in rookie walls, but it's part of it, just the sorting out process. And everybody's tired right now. Fox last night was exhausted.
Yeah, and I told you at the open of the show yesterday, I said I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this one. They're better than Brooklyn, but I wouldn't be surprised if they lose this one, just given how hard that slog is from Sacramento to Chicago to Brooklyn. In 2 days, you're going in 3 different time zones. You're spending 10, 12 hours on a plane and everything else that goes into that travel. So that was a tough win for them to go out there and get yesterday. And the guy who was the driving force behind that win was Domas Sabonis, who is just a beast again. And I've been saying a lot of the time after Domas has these triple doubles, Whitey, like it happens and you don't even know it. Like it slips right past you because he makes it look easy. Yesterday was not one of those games. He was impressive. You could tell he sort of took it upon himself.
He needed him to be down the stretch.
To set the tone at the start of the game and down the stretch there. And 24 points, 21 rebounds, 5 assists, fourth time Sabonis has gone 20-20 this season. He passed, and when you hear like names like this, you're like, oh, okay, he's doing stuff. Or just how long it's been since somebody has done something like this. Passed Otis Thorpe for the most rebounds in a season during the Sacramento era. He's averaging over 18 rebounds now in his last 3 games. It's absurd. It's crazy. Here was Mike Brown after the game. I think I messed up the order. I told you, Cal. This is Mike Brown after the game talking about what Domas did for this basketball team.
I don't know if Domas. I don't know if he knows another way. I think he's got one gear, and it's the highest gear. And I said the story before. He was just playing so hard, he didn't realize how much time was on the clock, and on the game clock. And I sent maybe Mezzi to the scores table to substitute him just so he could get his break. And he had just turned the ball over, and he dropped his head, and he came to me and he stopped. He goes, "Coach, sorry." And I was like, "Thomas, you played too hard. I can't get mad at you. Go see. You're supposed to come out. Look at the clock. You're just supposed to get a rest. You're good. Don't worry about it."
And he how many minutes did he play in that game last night? He seems like just a tough guy to get off the court for Mike Brown and his staff. You heard him there. He wants to be out 39 minutes in that game last night. And earlier this week, we hadn't played this yet, but JJ Redick on his podcast, NBA former player, now analyst on ESPN, and has his own podcast, The Old Man and the Three-Pointer. Is that what it's called?
Old Man and the Three.
Old Man and the Three.
And he felt the need to issue this apology to Kings Nation.
I want to look in the camera. I want to be very honest. We spoke earlier this season about accountability, and I just want to be accountable for some things that I said at the trade deadline last year. Now, in the context of the trade deadline, I didn't like the trade. I should not have used the word malpractice, and I apologize for that. I apologize for that to the Sacramento Kings fan base. I apologize for that to Monty McNair. This trade has turned into a win-win. Now, team struggled last year. I think they were 5-9 or 5-10 with Sabonis once after post-trade. What they did this offseason, they bring in Mike Brown. They add a ton of shooting. Kevin Huerter. They add Malik Monk. They draft Keegan Murray. They put the ball exclusively in De'Aaron Fox's hands. They use Sabonis as a hub. This offense, number one offense in the league, historical offense. It is so fun to watch. So much of that has been the offseason. But I was wrong, and I'll acknowledge that. I love watching this team play.
So there's JJ Redick. I don't know about you, Whitey. I enjoy JJ Redick. Sometimes he's a little obnoxious, and it feels like he's talking down to you when he's talking bad. But I appreciate his perspective, and I appreciate he can do stuff like that, like admit when he's wrong and own it. And I don't know if an apology is needed, but
no, it's necessary.
You think
it's
so?
Definitely necessary.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Didn't he just yesterday? I think he tweeted something really nice about Deuce and Mo's song.
Did he really?
He did. It was very sweet.
Yeah.
He was like, "I want to get this on Spotify." Yeah.
It's a really well done song.
It's great, and he's really good on games. But then sometimes he's kind of a hot take guy, and it's like, and he talks about Bill Russell played against plumbers and all that stuff. It's like, And I think he just went overboard with this Kings thing. I think it was reasonable for people to perhaps doubt that it would be as successful as it's been.
Oh, you do think that, Whitey?
In my opinion.
Why would you think that, Whitey?
Trying to be fair-minded about it.
Do you know anybody? Who maybe wasn't crazy about that trade when it went down, Whitey?
Yeah, I wanted to take this opportunity also to confess to you and on the Kings flagship. I wasn't crazy about the trade. The primary reason is because I'm a big Halliburton guy, and I still am. And I just thought Sabonis is a nice player, but what are they doing? Just kind of moving around the chairs. I had no idea it was going to be this successful. I was just talking to Jerry Reynolds about this today on our, we had a podcast, Old Fashioned 3. And he was all along, he said, no, he knew this was going to work. I didn't. I think one of the biggest reasons it's worked, though, is because De'Aaron Fox has gotten so much better than he was when they made that trade. But I confess, when they made that trade, I thought, hate to see that because I love Tyrese Halliburton.
But, I mean, I wasn't here yet, Whitey. I got here.
Easy to say.
I got here in
You're
June.
coming after me.
No, I'm not. I'm actually, I want to let you off the hook and JJ Redick and everybody else. I wasn't here, but I follow the NBA, and I look at all the trade grades after NBA trade deadline. All the madness ends and the dust settles, and everybody releases their trade grades and analysis. I didn't have that hot a take on the trade when it happened. I was in Milwaukee, and I was focused on bigger things, talking about the Bucks. I didn't have a strong take or opinion one way or the other.
Brewers had a big season.
Exactly,
I know, you had a lot to talk about there.
When the trade happened,
hater or not. Yeah.
But from what I understand, you and JJ Redick were far from the only ones, including right here in Sacramento and Kings Nation, who didn't love that trade and didn't really see what the Kings were doing. First of all, I never see a reason to apologize for a take, a prediction, or anything like that, because as I always say, I'm not here to be right weekdays 2 to 6. I'm here to be entertaining at youtube.com.
That's good. I'm write that down.
Sports. Yes.
Write that one down.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And also, when you're in the seemingly vast majority of people who felt the way you felt and believed what you believed, there's certainly no reason to apologize or confess.
But here's the problem. For me, I just feel like, hey, just so everyone is clear, I did at the time when they made that transformative trade, I didn't think it would work. The problem is people like JJ Redick, and he admitted he used the word malpractice. And then I like Jalen Rose. Jalen and Jacoby, I think they said at the time, and you guys, if you want to, you can find this, you don't need to, but I think they said, the league has to step in.
I do remember that. We played that actually a couple of months back.
What?
Yeah.
And that was because of this perception of the Kings at the time as a totally inept organization.
And so I don't appreciate your tone either.
Yeah. So that's part of what fueled some of this, like this malpractice. I don't think they know what they're doing. People had this perception of the Kings as an organization that had, no clue.
And you know what? They earned that too. I don't blame anybody who went into it looking at it through that prism of there are teams like when the Chiefs make a move for a guy who you didn't want, you're like, oh man, maybe we should have been in on that guy. If the Chiefs like him, maybe there's something there.
Yeah.
Because they're just that smart and that good of an organization. The opposite can be true when you're talking about a team that has been as inept as the Kings had been for a long time before the season, that you look at them and you go, if they're making that move, it's probably the wrong move. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You certainly, I don't blame anybody for feeling the way that they felt about that trade when it happened, including you, Whitey.
Well,
you're off the hook.
Don't. I didn't say it was malpractice, but I do wonder this. Watching last night, Sabonis. Now he was drafted by Orlando, ended up with Oklahoma City. I don't know if they drafted him for OKC or what, but there's two teams. Then Indiana. So before he even gets to Sacramento, a guy as good as he is, how did he go through 3 other teams? How did that happen? With Indiana, part of it is, OKC, they wanted Paul George. So they traded him to OKC to get Paul George.
Sure.
So I get that, but it's kind of curious. A guy this good could have 2 or 3 other teams say, we'll find something better.
And nobody ever put him in the position that Mike Brown and his coaching staff has put him.
I think
in.
it's a big
You
part
know what
of
I
it.
mean? To sort of be the
Running
hub
the offense
through which the offense runs.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about the Kings with Jordi Fernandez, assistant coach, coming up at 4:00. Checking our brackets coming up at about 3:45. After this, though, we go on the record. Cattles and Rami.
The only place you'll find Malik Monk is Sactown Sports.
Oh my, what an athletic move that time by Malik Monk.
Hey Sacramento, it's Malik Monk and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold.
All right. Hi, YouTube people. We are here to take any and all comments, questions, thoughts, concerns, anything and all in between here on Cattles and Rami. This is Kyle.
What up?
That's Simone. Did you have any questions from earlier that you wanted to get to?
I think someone had asked me about my radio aspirations. Hard to say, I am still developing, still very new to the game, but I'm optimistic and, just looking forward to where this path takes me. We got to get the Kings into some championship realms first. That's my main focus.
It's a great season to be producing live radio here in Sacramento, Simone. I think that's a pretty good place to be.
Totally. Maybe we're going to work on maybe getting the camera up for the next one too. But I know I got to do a headline soon.
Bit by bit, people are talking Domas. I'm just kind of scrolling through the chat here to see some more stuff that we were talking about earlier.
Ooh, TCG wants to know your teams, Kyle.
Who are my teams? Okay, so
it's very confusing.
Yeah, no, football, it's very complicated because for those paying attention, you guys live this in Sacramento. You guys almost saw your team leave back in 2013. The Seattle thing was on the 1 yard line. My childhood team in San Diego did leave, and I'm a happier, healthier person because I don't root for the Chargers anymore. So I don't really have a team that I ride or die with in football anymore. I just like Patrick Mahomes and want good things for him. And when Kansas City wins, I feel very happy for them. So it's also fun that they get to make the Chargers suffer every year. It's great. Who else? Oh, San Diego for baseball all the way through and through. Last year was maybe the best sports moment of my life when they beat those Dodgers. I got to go to
the Goose.
I got to go to the Goose game. Yes,
You were at the Goose game?
I was in Los Angeles for the Goose game, and I drove up and got in at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Were you working? Yeah, you were working here.
Yeah.
By then? Oh my god.
I had a meeting with Jay Mars the next day at like 11 a.m. and I got back at 4 a.m.
You're a real soldier.
It's the latest I've ever stayed up in my life was to go to the Goose game because I had to go to one. I had to be there for one San Diego playoff game. For those who don't know, I'm born in 2001, so
everyone knows. Just teasing.
No, but that got me. I had to stop and get the giggles out the way. So I did from 2006 to 2020. San Diego never played in a playoff game like the Kings. I didn't get a single playoff game in my entire childhood, and then they made it in 2020 in the pandemic, and then this year was the first year you could actually go to the game, so I had to be there. San Diego's my team, and then adopted Kings fan. We're an adopted Kings fan over here because we didn't really have a basketball team before this. So we're in year one of our adopted Kings fandom. Nice. I know that I haven't been through the tormented past of all of you listening here right now.
I will keep it super short and simple before we get back to the headlines that are about to open. Kings, Niners, give me Giants, very quasi Sharks adjacent fan. Really don't know much about that. And TCG, I'll get back to that question once we have a time, okay? I'll see you guys on the other side.
Yeah, Simone's got to do a headline, and we're coming back pretty soon here. Let's see if there's anything real quick I can sing in. Yeah, San Diego should have stayed. It's their team. They deserve that. They deserve that San Diego team. And you know what? I am just a happier, healthier person because San Diego blew a 27-point lead in a playoff game this year, and it's the third worst loss in my lifetime in the playoffs for San Diego. They're just a truly, truly cursed franchise. So, all right, we're going back live for On the Record. Thanks for hanging out, everyone.
Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Sactown Sports
Headlines. It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Beam business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital, taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. Tons of Friday fun and madness to be had as we check in on those busted brackets, talk Kings, and get you ready for the weekend. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. It's Friday. Let's get to On the Record with Cattles and Rami.
Some things just need to be recorded. And we aren't talking about on TikTok. We're talking about predictions and guarantees.
It's On the Record.
But off the record, I can't stand those.
It is time for On the Record here on Cattles and Rami. Whitey Gleason in for Nick Cattles. I am Rami. Simone, Kyle, other side of the glass. Check us out at youtube.com/SactownSports. If you're not familiar, Whitey, I don't know if you're familiar, On the Record, every sports talk show, they make predictions, right? They got hot takes. They got predictions.
But they're not held accountable.
Right. They just go out into space. They're out in the ether. You never hear about them ever again. Right, wrong, unless you're JJ Redick or a stand-up guy like Whitey, you're wrong, and it never comes back to bite you, right? No, not here on Cattles and Rami. No,
I like it.
We keep records. We keep it on the record when we make these predictions.
Now, if
As
you
the
guys
kids
want,
say, we have receipts.
Yes.
Yes.
If you like, I don't know how this works exactly. I'm willing to make picks on behalf of Cattle since he's not here.
I
can
like
tank,
that.
and I'll tank them intentionally.
I love it even more.
So I'm just saying, I can be had. If that's worth any money to anybody or even snacks.
I'm a stand-up competitor. I don't want to win that way,
Okay,
Whitey.
that's
I don't want to
fine.
win
That's
that way.
fine.
And
Yeah.
Kyle also not here on a day-to-day basis. So we figured, Whitey, Kyle, you have no skin in the game.
All right.
Me, and especially Simone needs the at-bats, man. She needs the at-bats to
It's
catch
true.
up with the rest of the show. So I figured we'd make a couple of extra predictions today. And then as a panel, we determine if they're single, double, home run, or a single, double, triple, or a home run.
In terms of degree of difficulty.
Right.
Yes.
Simone, before we get into today's predictions, do you have the batting averages for predictions made up until now? I just need the batting averages. We don't need to get too complicated with it.
I'll just read it off for you. We
Okay.
have you at second base. You are averaging a 303 right now.
Take that.
For Nick, we have him at first base averaging 211.
That's tough.
JJ, first base, averaging 313. And myself, let's see, just at a lowly second base, averaging 333.
Okay. All right. 333.
333.
All right.
That's a 1 for 3.
That was my Michelle Yeoh last weekend during the Oscars. I got that.
Oh, that's right.
That's
You
right.
did hit.
Nailed
you did hit on
it.
Michelle Yeoh.
Yep, right off the
winning
wall.
the Oscars. All right. So that's where we stand now. Simone, how many I told you to have like a couple extra. How many predictions do you have ready to go?
You know,
for
I
On the
only have
Record?
4 right here,
Four?
but
We'll go four.
I can make it stretch.
4
too,
is
or we
good.
can
Usually
figure out
we get
something.
in 2. Usually we only have time to get in 2. So
Right.
how about you get in 4? I'll get in 3.
I like
I'll
it.
give you a little catch up time.
I
All
love
right,
it.
So go first. What is your first prediction for On the Record this
Ooh,
afternoon,
our
Simone Rickford?
Our third month of the year madness. I'm going to be exploring the Northwestern Wildcats. They've been really enjoying their beam coverage here in Sacramento. They will be playing at Golden One Center against UCLA. And I am so sorry, Jason Ross, if you're listening. The Wildcats will be lighting that beam tomorrow.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay, so you got Northwestern.
Yep.
Winning
UCLA
tomorrow.
is favored by 7.5, but I am
Ooh.
going Northwestern.
I was going to
please.
ask you what the spread is because I don't know college basketball. I don't know how big of an upset that is.
Northwestern's a good team.
Yeah.
That's a double it.
They've been
Yeah,
enjoying, making
I was gonna
memes
say-
out of the beam
I
and
was going to
just
say double. I was going to say that's a solid program in Northwestern.
Double?
7.5 point spread. I'm going to say double.
Thank
Kyle,
you.
you agree? Double?
Perfect.
Either a double or a triple.
How about their seeding, Simone? Or what they're seated in the bracket?
Ooh,
If not,
I
don't
have to
worry.
go just
Don't worry
pull
about
up.
it.
It's
Don't
7-2. 7-2.
Is
Yeah,
it? Yes.
7-2. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, that's a double. A 7-2 upset, I would say, is
Yeah.
a double. Okay, so we're going to give her a double on that one. I'll go next. I will keep with the theme of the NCAA tournament and our brackets. I don't know where I stand now. I'll check because we're going to do a little bracket check next segment. I predict, though, that as somebody who knows nothing, next to nothing about college basketball, and we have, let me see, I think it's How many people? Do you know how many people are in our poll? In our pool? Do you guys know the station
like
pool?
227.
I will
brackets.
finish in the top 10.
Nice.
Well, where are you right now?
I don't know. Actually, I do. I'm ranked 168th right now.
You're crazy. You know, I'm actually big league right now, right?
Really?
Yeah, I was fourth at one point. I am now tied for
Hold
27.
on. Save this. We'll get to it in a second.
Okay.
I will finish in the top 10. I will finish in the top 10 in this. That's a home run.
Yeah, that's
right?
a home run.
Okay, that's a home run.
Who do you have deep in the tournament?
I got Bama winning the whole thing. I got him beating Gonzaga. Is that how that's set?
That is a possible championship. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that's a home run. Then that's
All
a
right.
home run.
Okay. I'm gonna finish in the top 10. I don't know if there's any cookies. We're doing this for cookies. I don't know if there's any cookies for finishing top 10, but I'm gonna finish top 10. Simone, what is your next prediction for On the Record? Oh, there's the music. Thank you. I didn't want to be that guy. Simone?
I know. I was trying to get some for us.
It's all good.
Next on the record, give me the Kings tomorrow over in our nation's capital. Give me the bench for plus 40 points tomorrow, please.
Plus 40 over the Wizards bench? Is that what you mean?
You mean 40 more than?
No. Oh my gosh, no.
All right.
I just meant they're going to score 40
or more
collectively.
points.
Yes,
okay, 40
yes.
plus points. Okay,
I was
when
like,
you said
sorry if I said it wrong.
No, that's all right. 40 plus points from the bench.
What are they at? That's.
But here's the thing: they're gonna lose some firepower off the bench for
because
whoever
someone has to
whoever
supplement for
starts
Kevin.
in place for Kevin Huerter. I'll say double.
Yep.
I'll give it a double.
Double.
You double.
All right,
Thank you.
That's a double.
Yeah, a bloop double where the outfielder
snort.
falls down. Yeah.
I will. I didn't have a prediction about that game tomorrow, but I'll go ahead and make a prediction. I think the Kings rest up with the day that they have to travel. They win that game by at least 17 points tomorrow. 17 or more point victory
I like it.
for the
Wow, that is
blowout
a bold choice.
17 points or more.
That's a triple.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whitey, triple.
Well, I'm just
you
trying
agree?
Did the Wizards play tonight?
That is a good question. Let me.
I know I'm taking this far too seriously.
They do play tonight. They are at Cleveland, so they will travel home after that game to take on the Kings.
That's a double.
Okay. A double? A blowout? Okay.
Whitey's tough on you.
What, Simone, Kyle, what did you guys say? Triple?
No, I think
It's majority rule.
I will give you the triple. I'll be optimistic.
Stink.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
Kyle?
Wizards stink.
Kyle, you're the
It's hard to
decider.
win by 17. I'm sorry. I'm giving him a triple. For
Yeah,
that.
I think
that's a
it's
triple.
They
admirable.
lost by 15 earlier this year to the Wizards.
All right, we got to move this. Simone, your third prediction. For On
Third
the Record.
prediction. Give me Japan as your 2023 World Baseball Classic champions,
I have
please.
no idea. I mean, if she's taking Japan against the field,
Yu Darvish, Shohei Ohtani.
Yep.
but that's at least a triple, right? If it's the whole field versus, and
Well,
she's
some
taking
teams already
Japan.
out. Puerto Rico, Dominican's already out.
So Japan's already in the semifinal.
Oh, okay, double. That's a double.
Humble me, Kyle. Humble me.
Yeah, that's a double.
Double's
All right.
fair.
All right, double. I like it.
I've had this in my pocket for a couple weeks. I'm just going to go ahead and fire this one off. The Kings are winning at least one playoff series.
Ooh,
The Kings
I
are winning.
like it.
I'm gonna get that out now before anyone else does. The Kings are winning at least one playoff series, and I might add to that in coming weeks here on the record. But they are winning at least one playoff series.
It's a double.
This
I mean,
season.
they're a freaking 2 seed.
Yeah, they should be the home team. I don't
Yeah,
expect
might
more
even
than
be
a
a
double.
single.
Double on that, you guys?
I'll
Double.
go double.
Double's
like
good.
it.
And then Simone.
Lastly,
Your
this
last
one
one.
is for our compadres over in Las Vegas. I would like to say on the record, they will not be meeting up. They will whatever excuses happen, the wives keep them away from each other. I mean,
You're saying JJ and Nick
they won't
will
connect.
not connect.
They
in
won't
Las
connect.
Vegas.
They're going to be like, I'm sorry, I missed your
Wow.
text. I didn't see you there. We went out to dinner here. They will not connect
Wow.
face to face in Las Vegas.
Oh, wow. I'm going to give that. I can see it happening. I think they will, but I can see it happening. I'm going to say a double. I'm going to say that's a solid. Yeah. I think that's a solid double that they do because I could see it happening. I think it will happen, but I can definitely see why you're saying it would not.
Oh my
Given
gosh.
the track record of
What
this
do
show.
you guys think? Whitey?
Whitey?
Oh, these are, upstanding people who say that would be a home run if that happened. They definitely will. They said they will, so they will.
Single, no fade.
Wow.
No, let's go double.
Okay.
A double again. Okay, I'll take it.
All right.
I like
So
In and Out.
that'll be a double. So that's on the record. Again,
Delicious.
We keep track of these things. We keep receipts.
Yep.
As Simone said, the kids say. We keep receipts on this stuff. Right after this, we'll check in, see how everybody's brackets. Already some brackets, I would imagine, busted with some of the upsets. And also, if you need some help on how to watch the NCAA tournament, we got you covered on Cattles and Rami.
It's Cattles and Rami.
He sounds like Batman. When I went into the darkness,
There was one single lonely bar of Wi-Fi. This guy.
when I rose from the darkness,
This dude is so
there was a
like,
shift.
I was a different person. He's just so extra, right?
And he's going to Gotham. He's literally going to Gotham.
You know people. He is. You know people in your life that are just extra. This dude's so extra.
Cattles and Rami. Weekday afternoons from 2 to 6 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by R.C. Willey Home Furnishings.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the mid-40s. Nice day tomorrow. Sun and clouds with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willey has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willey in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
0 down with approved credit.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Of course I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my patio furniture and even my shoes. I'm hooked.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. You know, those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings, off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
How did your roof fare in the recent storms? If there's signs of wear and tear, address it before the problem becomes bigger. Cobex Construction Group understands the importance of a strong protective roof. The smallest leak can be the biggest problem. We provide homeowners with reliable roof repairs and replacements. Quality work and customer satisfaction are paramount to us. Get a new roof for zero down and low monthly payments. Call 1-800-NEW-ROOF for a no-obligation quote or visit trustcobex.com. Cobex Construction in Roseville. Do it once. Do it right.
There's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. And at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we are proud to provide our best selection to get you there. Buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Folks, there's a fast break with the game on the line. He dribbles down the court, passes ahead for the alley-oop, and it's caught for a slam dunk.
Do you need an assist? Regain and optimize your performance. See what Pacific Men's Clinic can do to make your love life the best it can be. Pacific Men's Clinic's safe and pain-free, clinically proven procedure breaks up plaque and stimulates the growth of healthy new blood vessels. Call for your free consultation now at 916-545-7577. That's 916-545-7577.
Arizona with a prayer that will not go. And the Tigers of Princeton growl their way into round 2 as they upset the #2 seed Wildcats of Arizona.
That was the call on CBS. First big upset of this year's NCAA men's tournament. It's Cattles and Rami. I'm Rami. No Cattles today. Whitey Gleason in for Nick, Kyle, and Simone on the other side of the glass. Bracket check time. Whitey, how far did you have Arizona going in your bracket?
I personally don't have a bracket, but I have my wife's consultant, bracket consultant.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, for example, she wanted to pick Wednesday night. She said, I want to pick Furman over Virginia. And I said, okay.
Smart woman, smart.
I said, fine. And it's like, good one. Anyway, she did have Arizona getting to the, not to the Final Four, but she had him in the Elite Eight. So that one's going to leave a mark a little bit.
I had him in the Elite Eight as well. How bad did they bust up your brackets, Kyle?
Don't ask Simone.
Final Four for me.
Really?
Yeah, that one hurts.
I had him going to the Elite Eight.
I had the best of both worlds. Only Sweet 16, and I got to be at Golden One Center to watch the game yesterday.
Really? You were there for that one?
I was there for Princeton, Arizona.
Media, or you had just had tickets?
I had $10 tickets and then sat in the lower bowl when security wasn't looking.
Nice.
Shouldn't
say that on the radio. Shouldn't say that on the radio. I probably shouldn't have predicted I'd finish in the top 10 because Arizona was it was the only Elite 8 team that I lost, but I already have 9 wrong. I don't think we've even played 25, 26 of the first 32 games in the first round.
That's pretty bad.
Yeah, I have 9 wrong, and I've lost 1, 2
what was your system so that we can know to avoid doing things that way in the future?
I had all the 8-9s wrong.
I've lost 4 Sweet 16 teams already that have been
Jesus,
eliminated.
why did you pick that you'd finish in the top 10?
I don't know. It is not going well. I currently rank 168th out of however many people that we have in the station pool. Kyle, are you in the station pool or no?
Yeah, I'm in the station pool. I'm in the hundreds territory, but I do have the most maximum points available, so I'm still in
it. What's your max points?
I think it's 188 or something.
Oh, then I'm not doing that bad. I'm still at 173.
Not terrible, no.
Okay.
But see, and I'm ranked 29th, and I only have 144 left.
Oh, see, I'm going to pass Simone.
No.
Yeah, because you got it.
Blow right past
Here's
Simone.
the secret.
Oral Roberts.
Oral Roberts going to the Elite 8. But the secret is you just got to get the final 4 teams correct, and you'll win your bracket.
Yeah, because they're more points. They're worth more
So who do you
points
have?
the deeper that you go. I have in my final 4, I had, let's see here. I had Duke, Marquette, Arizona. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's not the final. I had Alabama, Marquette, Texas, and Gonzaga.
Okay.
And all 4 of them are still alive. All 4 of my final 4 are still. Why didn't you fill out a bracket? Why do you just not?
I enjoy the games more when I don't.
Really?
Yeah, because I just like to watch the games. And then I have to thank my wife because last year Sheena asked me to be her consultant. And she says, I want to pick Kansas because I used to live there. And I said, no, that's not it. And she knows basketball, but I want to. So I told her not to, and they ended up winning the whole thing.
It worked.
I'm stunned that I'm back this year as a consultant. I appreciate it.
So that's where we all stand. I will finish in the top 10. I put it on the record. But meanwhile,
you don't even believe that.
I don't. If you are having trouble keeping up with all the NCAA tournament action, there's yesterday I came across this clip that's
on so many different channels.
So many channels, right?
Yeah.
And every year this clip goes viral of Mike Francesa helping guys like Whitey, like myself, and folks out there like you who maybe just can't keep up with all the madness.
You have the ability on your system, whatever your system is. Now, let's say I'll use DirecTV here, which we have here. You got a game on 246, a game on 245, and a game on 247. You go to the game you want. That game is always playing all the time on that channel. So you go to that channel.
What?
This is a whole different deal now. Plus, they don't have to switch games anymore. They're not even doing it. They just basically let the game run on that individual channel. And you got to check your own system. If you have whatever system you have, you'll find I needed to find where True TV was. I didn't even know where True TV was. It was 246. I needed to find that. I mean, I knew where TBS was. I knew where TNT was. I had to find TBS, which was, True TV, which is 246. So it's 246, 245, 247 on DirecTV.
This guy just blew my mind. You can, so if you just go to the game that you want to watch, we all have that ability to just change from game to game. Is that what he's telling me?
That means that either that year he said that or the year before he spent a
That's
lot
amazing.
of time watching one game thinking, why
Just
aren't
waiting
they showing
for them
me
to switch to the other game?
Why aren't they switching? Why aren't
This
they
is
switching to
useful
another game?
because I think you guys have the prices right on in the other room.
That's amazing. I had no idea. I will say this. He's right about one thing. Every year the NCAA tournament is when I remember where True TV is again.
Totally.
Every year, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep, every year we got to go find it.
That's where True TV is.
Now, I know the great guy Haberman on Twitter today pointed out, I think there's something on YouTube now where you can split screen.
Yeah,
so
they have all games on one screen.
I don't think Francesca's
no,
ready
that
for
would blow his brain would explode.
Yeah,
his brain would
that's
explode.
the way to go.
I wonder if they're doing brackets in the Kings locker room. We'll ask Kings assistant coach Jordi Fernandez that and much more important stuff right after this. Cattles and Rami.
Catch every Niners game right here.
It's a new partnership. It's a new day. We're going to be able to build some things together. But let's not fool anybody. This has always been a Niners town.
Here's Purdy out of the gun looking for McCaffrey on the goal line. Touchdown! San Francisco! Sactown Sports, your official home for 49ers football in the 916.
For your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Chrysler's Jeep Celebration event?
We have the biggest savings since 2020 with up to $15,000 off MSRP when you lease a new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xE.
Those 4xe plug-ins are pretty awesome. Any special going on for Dodge?
Right now, get up to $5,500 off MSRP on new 2022 Dodge Charger GTs. But with this kind of savings, they won't last long.
Nobody will treat you better than Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Come see for yourself with a test drive today or search, select, and save at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
15,000 total net savings on select new 2022 Jeep Grand Cherokee 4xEs after 10,500 total rebates and 4,500 dealer discounts. Must lease to qualify. Rebates include 3,000 California carb lease bonus gas. Must be California residents and lease to qualify. Plus 7,500 federal income tax credit rebate. Valid only on lease option. 7,500 income tax credit provided by Internal Revenue Code Section 30D. May apply to purchase option. Incentive offered by third party and may be subject to change without notice. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. 5% net savings. Sample VIN 716944. Must take delivery by 3/31/23. Only while supplies last. 5,500 total net savings on select 2022 Dodge Charger GTs after 2,500 factory rebates and 3,000 dealer discounts. 5% net savings. See dealer for details.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream. You sound like my grandpa.
Now through March 21st, new customers can get 1 gig internet on the Xfinity 10G network. It's just $30 a month for 2 years when you add mobile with unlimited data. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity Internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
For a precision-crafted performance, the decision is easy. A new Acura from Acura of Stockton. Get the driving experience you've been waiting for in a new Acura. Get the best selection and customer service you deserve from Acura of Stockton. Shop in person or use our online express store at AcuraofStockton.com. Acura of Stockton will buy your trade, even if you don't buy from us. Don't settle for less than precision-crafted performance of a new Acura from Acura of Stockton and AcuraofStockton.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell with the Retirement Security Center for the Weekly Economic Update. The four most common letters you may be hearing this week are FDIC. This stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and its primary function is to provide liquidity to depositors in the banking sector. Deposits made to an FDIC-insured bank are guaranteed up to $250,000 per registration and institution. When you make a deposit to a bank, they loan out or invest the majority of the assets, but keep something called a required reserve. The bank stays solvent unless too many depositors request their funds over and above that required reserve. This causes a liquidity crisis for the bank. If you deposit under $250,000 and your bank is unable to provide for your desired withdrawals, the FDIC steps in, takes over the bank and its assets, provides its liquidity, and unwinds the assets of that bank over time in a more measured manner. Confidence in our banking institutions is key to our economic system. Over time, the federal government has added regulations to help avoid bank liquidity issues. In this case, the system worked perfectly. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
There are plenty of reasons to love golf in Northern California. With giant redwoods lining the fairways, the best Alistair McKenzie course you've never played is Northwood Golf Club's 9-holer along the Russian River. The 7th hole at Pebble Beach is a beauty or a beast. Play a sand wedge or a 5-iron depending on the direction of the wind. Down the road a bit, Pacific Grove Golf Course sports a gazillion-dollar ocean view and a green fee about 1/10 of Pebble Beach. San Francisco's Presidio Golf Course survived the 1906 earthquake and was home course to President Teddy Roosevelt. In the summer, you can tee it up on the ocean at the links at Bodega Harbor at dawn and tap in at sunset in the mountains at Old Greenwood in Truckee. Unlike Caddyshack's Carl Spackler, a good superintendent goes unnoticed working behind the scenes. Green thumbs up. There's a lot to love about golf, and as columnist Thomas Boswell wrote, when you fall in love with golf, you seldom fall easy. It's obsession at first sight. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Beam business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital, taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. Tons of Friday fun and madness to be had as we check in on busted brackets, talk Kings, and get you ready for the weekend. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Please welcome in Associate Head Coach Jordi Fernandez of your Sacramento Kings to the program right now.
With you 1 mile at a time during the afternoon drive. Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
Hour 3 of the show, Kevin Whitey Gleason in for Nick. I am the Rami half of Cattles and Rami. Hopefully they got some sleep before Brooklyn. Sleep is important, especially in athletic performance. And joining us now from Brooklyn is Kings assistant coach and friend of the show, Jordi Fernandez. Coach, how are you this afternoon, my friend?
Good. How are you guys doing? Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. I would imagine a little more well rested given the off day today than what you guys were yesterday. And Coach Brown didn't hide from it afterwards. It's a grind sometimes in the NBA, man. You guys got to your hotel room about 3:30, went out there and found a way to win. We all like the high scoring, high flying games that you guys have been winning throughout the season, but ones like that are pretty satisfying too, aren't they, Coach?
Yeah, those wins, like Coach said, when they're a grind, they're awesome. It was kind of an ugly win, but at the same time, a beautiful win because it's a different way to do it. As you know, we're used to score a lot, and we found our way to defend and then execute down the stretch to secure the win. So it was really good to see that.
Coach, this is Kevin Gleason. It's a pleasure to speak with you. I wanted to ask you about Domantas Sabonis and the injury that he's playing through. And I think we just kind of take it for granted that, oh, yeah, he's fine with it. But what kind of tone does it set for the team when one of your best players is playing through the type of injury and the type of pain that he's been playing through this season?
Yeah, I think Domas and Keegan, they've set the example for the rest of the team. The number one thing is you have to be clear by the medical team and you know, like he was allowed to play through his pain and he got through it, same as Keegan. So, you know, that means a lot to all of us because at the end of the day, it benefits the group. So like you said, there's a lot of bunch of bruises in this league and times where your body is telling you that, you know, it's hard and you're in pain, but you know, a lot of these guys, they get through it. They work every single day. They sacrifice a lot for the rest of the team. So, you know, that's the reason why we are having a successful season. That's the mindset that we need to finish this regular season.
You know, it's funny you bring up Keegan when talking about. I think we all know that Domas has been dealing with a pretty serious injury this year, and we've known that there have been things that have been nagging at Keegan. And Coach, I'm not asking you to reveal any medical information that hasn't been put out there before, but he's a very understated guy. Has he been dealing with more pain wise than maybe what he's let on or what we as fans and media know?
No, Keegan is a superstar, a rock star. He's even keeled. He, you know, plays, you know, really hard and, you know, like, as you know, he may not show his emotions, but he cares and he tries to get better every day. He's a rookie starting in a winning team in the West. So it's a big challenge, but he's responding. And, you know, we've seen Keegan scoring a lot of points. We've seen Keegan struggling with certain matchups, and we've seen Keegan that even he struggles to score. Now, the other day, he rebounded very well. Yesterday, he had a very good defensive half against Mikal Bridges, who's a very, very good player. So Keegan has been amazing for our group, and he's just going to get better.
Coach, I know that you've written a scholastic paper on basketball offenses, and with the proliferation of the three-pointer, you know, NBA offenses are getting more and more homogenized. So what is it that I know you don't want to share secrets of your offense, but what is it about the Kings and the way you approach it offensively that is unique in today's NBA?
Like you said, I'm not going to reveal any secret.
Sure, of course.
You know, our I think it's very obvious that we play fast, and it's not just changing ends. It's like there's a lot of body movement and ball movement in the half court, and the pace that we play with in the half court, it's tough to keep up with for the other teams. And, you know, you could see, like, we competed against Milwaukee, against a team that physically was really big, and that team is equipped to go all the way through. And just because of the way we play, we have a chance against anybody. And, you know, the number of passes, everybody sharing and everybody touching the ball, and the amount of shooting we have combined with our best two players, that's what you see right now on the court, and that's why we're, number one offensively.
Talking with Kings assistant coach Jordi Fernandez here on Cattles and Rami, Sactown Sports, youtube.com/Sactown Sports. Hit those thumbs up for us, if you would, please. Coach, last night, Kevin Huerter leaves the game with the hamstring injury. Today we get the good news that it came back negative, which is probably best case scenario, and he's listed as day-to-day. How worried was the team, the coaching staff last night about Kevin Huerter, given how big a role he's played for you guys, especially recently, and how much of a relief is it that it appears he won't be off the court for too long?
Yeah, obviously losing Kevin would have been, not good for the rest of the team. He, as you said, plays a big role for us. Plays a lot of second side pick and roll, a lot of shooting, But the good news, is he's day to day. I talked to him today. He's in a good place. So whenever he's ready to come back, we'll be happy to have him back. At the same time, I think right now, because we have a deep roster and the rest of the players have played very well, we'll be able to compete. So it's good that if he's back right away, great for us. If he's not and needs a day or two, then it's an opportunity for somebody else. And we'll be happy for that next guy to step up and have a bigger role.
We were talking before this Kevin Huerter injury last week on the show, and a lot of people have brought up this point about just how fortunate you guys have been when it comes to injuries. And I don't have the numbers in front of me, Coach, but you're starting five, and the percent of minutes that they've played is leaps and bounds ahead of the team that's in second. Is that something that has dawned on you guys, that you've ever discussed, just how fortunate this team has been when it comes to the health and the lack of injuries over the course of an NBA season?
Well, in my opinion, there's different things that can affect the injuries. Like you said, the number one is luck, and we cannot control that, right? Contact sport, 5-on-5, you never know. Number two is we have a young roster, so the younger you are, the less chances to get hurt, right? So we're pretty young. Number three is our guys that are doing an unbelievable job preparing themselves, working every day to stay healthy, to rest, to eat the right way, to do their extra job, their treatments. Four, it's our medical staff and performance. They've been amazing. Helping the guys recover, but also leading them and helping them with their habits. So I think all that combined with the front office putting the team together, as you said, being a little, obviously lucky, but you get this type of seasons where, knocking on wood here, we stay healthy up until this point.
Coach, I know that you're focused solely on this year, but it's no secret you're going to be a head coach someday. In what way do you hope that when you're a head coach, you most resemble your current head coach and mentor, Mike Brown?
Right now, my focus is to make his life better, like you said. And I just take every single day as a learning day on how to build and how to build relationships and how to lead a project, how to lead a team, how to be a good people and holding people accountable, and being a really, really good human, either, sometimes making mistakes, but owning it and moving forward. All those things make Coach Brown who he is. Me personally, I'm extremely lucky that, he brought me here and I'm here with him right now. And like you said, maybe one day is my chance to be a head coach, but right now my mind is to be in the playoffs in Sacramento and be here for, a long time with him.
Speaking of where your focus is, I would imagine that I've been telling Kings fans all along to enjoy every little thing about this ride, given how long that they've waited for something like this to happen, Coach. But I wouldn't imagine that clinching a winning record for the first time in 16 years is necessarily something that you guys are throwing a party for in that locker room, right? There are much bigger goals that are set, and you guys have your eyes on the prize too much to be worried about something like that. Would I be right in that?
Yeah, I think that, before before you win, because winning at the end of the day is a result, right? We're focused on process, and that means winning for the long run, winning for many years, winning championships, moving on to the next round. Like I said, playoffs is a focus, and that doesn't mean one round. It means once we get there, we're going to focus on winning that one and get to the next one. And I think that competitive mindset, that's what you work on a day-to-day basis. Especially the days that you don't have games is when you show up, you do your job, and that means you're competing. That's when, you get to the game, it's almost like an instinctive reaction. You just, every single day, what you're going to do is fight to give your best. And I think that's who we want to be. That's why there's no celebrations. Winning more than 41 games is pretty cool. I'm super happy for the fans, for the city. But we have really high standards, and what we hope is that people enjoy watching us, and they're proud of what the guys do on the floor. That's what really means a lot to us.
That's Kings coach Jordi Fernandez. Coach, thanks for a few minutes of your time.
Thanks,
Best of luck tomorrow in the nation's capital and getting back home to these Kings fans. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
There's Coach Jordi Fernandez. He joins us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. All guests do. Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. And it is 4:13 here on a Friday. This time check is brought to you by Coastside Medical Clinic. Thanks for asking the tough question. Somebody on YouTube was like, you got to ask him about the Atlanta rumor. I mean, you essentially did in pointing out he's going to be a head coach
there's
someday,
no freaking
right?
way he's going to,
That guy's good, man.
Yeah.
That guy,
he's going to be a head coach. There's just no way he's going to entertain any notion of any report about him going somewhere else.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
He's going to give that answer.
It's just
that
a
he
waste
gave.
of everybody's time.
But we had to at least bring up the future of Jordi Fernandez and the fact that, he will be a head coach. He was mentioned for that Atlanta job, and he will be mentioned for other jobs. And, man, that's one of the costs of winning. You know what I mean? People start wanting to pluck off your tree. They see fruits growing, and they want to pluck off your tree. And Jordi Fernandez will probably be one of the first guys, one of the first expenses of winning for the Sacramento Kings because he's that good. And we always enjoy having him here on the show. Kings have been real, real good. Best offense ever? We'll talk about that right after this.
I'm Eric Armstead, and you're listening to Sactown Sports.
Armstead with relentless pursuit, and Eric Armstead came in and sacked him.
You wanted more Niners?
Sactown Sports.
Sacramento's new home for the 49ers.
Take as little as 3 minutes to see if you could save on motorcycle insurance with Progressive. Come on, you've spent more time than that thinking about helmets with faces on them.
I should get a new helmet. Ooh, maybe I'll get one of those ones that looks like a face with painted teeth and eyebrows, Oh, that always looks so cool. People are like, whoa, is that a person with two faces? Oh, no, it's a helmet and one face.
Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
At the United States Postal Service, we're reinventing our network to help keep your business moving. With new shipping options to deliver better value, greater flexibility to conveniently reach your customers, more confident shipping with new informed delivery features, and new electric vehicles for a cleaner, brighter future. Fast, reliable, perfectly orchestrated. The United States Postal Service, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/moving forward.
One brings Makloff magic, while the other,
We're still trying to figure that out.
Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
That is the show. Thanks again to Jordi Fernandez, Kings assistant coach, for joining us on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. As all guests do, Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop. Thank you. I usually try and sing it for Nick, so I appreciate that. Yeah. That's Whitey Gleason in for Nick today. I'm Rami Makloff, Cattles and Rami, coming up on the show. We'll get to I have a theory about Josh McDaniels and this whole Darren Waller
I've
trade.
heard you don't really like Josh McDaniels.
What? Nah, get out of here.
That's what I
Rami,
hear.
no.
That's what I've heard on the street.
Also, the latest on the Aaron Rodgers saga and a crazy, crazy idea that maybe shouldn't be all that crazy about the 49ers quarterback situation. That's all coming up at 4:45. But today I came across, they do the bounce over at The Athletic every day. Shams Charania and Zach Harper, two of the best NBA writers in the business for my money. They just kind of give their observations of games that were played that night, things they've caught in the NBA, or interesting basketball thoughts that they've had. And I believe this was Zach Harper. They're not really clear on who writes what. It's a shared column between the two of them, but I believe this was written in the style of a Zach Harper, if I know his writing. And follow along with me here. It's time for Rami Reads on Cattles and Rami at youtube.com/Sactown Sports. And there's also some numbers, but
I feel like I should go over there and sit by your cross-legged at your feet.
Put a blanket on the floor. You and Simone and Kyle all gather around, a little cup of milk and some cookies. No, but I had to bring this to the table because, first of all, it's a big statement, and a case is made that, as I think it's Zach Harper puts it, in fact, would you guess the Kings have the best offense? Not just this season, we're talking about the best offense we've ever seen. And it's not even close, is how Zach Harper sets this thing up. Best offense we've ever seen, and it's not even close. So why does he say that? On a per-game basis, the Kings 120.9 per game, 120.9 points per game, are on pace to trail only the 1980s Nuggets for the highest average single-season scoring since the ABA-NBA merger in 1976. Those four Denver teams ahead of Sacramento played roughly 11 more possessions per game than the Kings currently do, which is why, as Zach puts it, the latter's offensive rating is also bonkers. He had Sacramento is scoring 119.4 points per 100 possessions this season, leading to an offensive rating higher than last year's Brooklyn Nets, who recorded the highest single-season offensive rating since the league first tracked that metric in 96-97. Those Nets, he reminds us, had James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Kyrie Irving for portions of the season.
Yeah.
Best offense ever?
No.
Whitey Gleason?
No.
Okay, why not?
This has been trending this way for a while. I remember, so you said the Kings have the highest offensive rating this year, highest ever, and the second highest was last year.
Yeah.
And I remember in the bubble, if I'm not mistaken, actually before we even got into the bubble, the Dallas Mavericks, people were pointing out they had the highest offensive rating ever. So wait a minute, that's a few years ago. So it's just the way the league is trending, and it's a math problem. Yeah, points per game don't work. You got to look at possessions. So I look at offensive rating that is more than the league average. For example, this year, Sacramento 119.2 offensive rating, which is incredible. The league average is 114.6. So scoring's up all over.
Right.
That's a league average. Now, I'm not saying the Kings aren't a great offensive team, but that's what it's not even +5. The Kings in 03-04, the league average was 102.9, but the Kings offensive rating was 110. So you see the gap between the league average and what the Kings were doing there. So I look at it that way. Sure, they're scoring more points, but everybody is. So to me, they have a great offense. But is this the greatest offense ever? I ain't going there.
I agree with you.
Nobody plays defense anymore.
We have to put this all in context of the way that the game is played versus the way it's been played before. And I'll add one more number that on a completely completely unrelated note.
Magic number for clinching the division?
No, I will get that to you though. On a sort of completely unrelated note later in the column, because again, this is like they break it up into chunks. I noticed this, I saw this, I noticed it. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So on later in the column, he's talking about scoring in the league as a whole. And he points out that the Chicago Bulls and their 24th ranked offense this year, the Bulls, 24th ranked offensive rating this season would be top 89 in league history. One of the worst offenses in the league this year is top 100.
Is the 89th best ever
in the history of the league. So
right.
You have to take that grain of salt when you look at the Kings offensive ratings.
Also, you can't guard people anymore. I mean, the rules have changed. So teams that were scoring fewer points in the past were doing so against better defenses that were allowed to grab and Yeah, in the 60s, you could shoot a guy in the leg if it was just a flesh wound. It was like, yeah, no harm, no foul.
What if it wasn't a flesh wound?
Then it was a flagrant.
Technical. Flagrant one.
They throw you out, but you could play the next game.
It's a flagrant one, and they took your weapon. They're like, you're not getting this back till after the game, mister.
Right.
Until you get back on the train.
Yeah. You wait till after the game to get it back. That's
Okay,
right.
so then not the greatest NBA offense ever. You've been here a lot longer than I have. What greatest Kings offense you've ever seen?
That 0304 was, I mean, when Peja, and Weber and those teams were great. And that team, I guess, 0304 was statistically the best. So right in there, yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Jay Will was more fun, though.
Still really good.
No
really
question.
Damn good, man.
No question.
Really good.
Yeah.
Let's get a quick call in here. Jim has been waiting patiently to talk some Kings. Jim, you're on Cattles and Rami. What's up, man?
Did you say Jim or Jeff?
Jim, that's you. You're on the radio.
No, that's not me. I haven't changed my name recently. My name's Jeff. How you doing, Whitey?
It says Jim here on the phone. What's up, man? Whatever your name is. What you got?
Okay, no problem. But anyway, I was going to make a comment. I hate to tell you that I've been watching hoops for a long time, and what makes the Kings unique now, and it wasn't going to work last year, is it's been like a cheat code has been released between the combination of the Warrior offense, Brown coaching, and Fox and Sabonis getting along. And I'm going to share with you that, yeah, you may be right that physically years past, the defense wasn't good. But I'm going to tell you that if they try to slow the Kings down, their half-court offense is going to take over, because if you've been seeing, they've been letting people play Sabonis one-on-one. He eats them up. And they only have two centers, and they both happen to be in the East, and that's who's had bad problems with. And that's Embiid. And also recently Antetokounmpo and Lopez. So the only two teams that can stand in their way physically are the East. So don't be surprised they make it to Western Conference Finals, because that one-on-one on Sabonis, you're not going to win. And so I would put him up against Jokic, and I will bet that we will be in Game 7 with them.
Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. I said earlier in the show, I have a hard time seeing them winning a series against a Milwaukee or a Boston or maybe even a Philly, but I could see that I wouldn't necessarily pick them in any series in the West. Whitey, we'll see when we get there. I wouldn't cut them out of any series in the West, and wouldn't be surprised if they were representing the Western Conference in the NBA Finals. Wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, that's a great call. Talking about that cheat code between the Warrior offense, which is a good point, and Mike Brown and Sabonis and Fox. And, one of the reasons they're so much better this year is Fox is better. Fox is a lot better. I don't know if it's becoming a dad or, one of the reasons they traded Halliburton and not Fox is because with what he was making, other teams didn't want him.
Yep.
And teams would want him now because he's really, really good.
We got to, on the other side of this, we haven't talked about the trade of Darren Waller much this week. And something about Josh McDaniels has always bothered me. I can never quite put my finger on it. There's a personality trait that's there. I figured it out.
All right.
I'll tell you what it is next.
Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports. It's the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
Dana Jacobson. Dana, it's been so long. How are you?
It's really nice being back.
I missed the beginning part. I did catch the end, so I'm here.
I said I don't like you, and I'm only coming on because
that's what I expected.
Carmichael Dave, and I was so thrilled that Carmichael Dave has a show, because to me he was just calling in all the time. Yes. Carmichael Dave. And if it wasn't for him, I would not be doing this, because I never liked him.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross. Weekday mornings from 6 to 10 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by R.C. Willey Home Furnishings.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the mid-40s. Nice day tomorrow. Sun and clouds with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
New flooring instantly updates a room. RC Willey has an incredible selection of carpet, hardwood, tile, and laminate. Their experts will help you find the perfect floor for your home and schedule a free in-home measure. Shop RC Willey in Elk Grove or Rockland today.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Hands up. No fouls. No fouls. Yes. Great job. Timeout.
Hello, Sacramento, and all you listeners, it's Doug Christie here for the Good Feet Store. Did you know that when your feet are not properly supported, your whole body can become misaligned, causing pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back? Good Feet arch supports are designed to support all four arches of the foot, placing the feet in their ideal pain-relieving position and aligning the body from the feet up. Good Feet arch supports come in a wide range of over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes, so customers can be precisely fit with the arch supports that meets their personal needs. It's one reason why Good Feet arch supports are only available at the Good Feet Store. Visit the Good Feet Store now for a free personalized arch support fitting and then take them for a walk. Experience for yourself the pain-relieving comfort, balance, and support of Good Feet. In Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
At Ashton & Price, over the last 25 years, we've won just about every injury case you can think of. Slip and fall, falling merchandise, fell through rotted decking, we won those. Dangerous stairs, falls into holes, dog bites, won them. Injured while pedestrian or on a bicycle, auto, motorcycle, big rig, company vehicle, Uber, or Lyft accident, we've won them all. And the best news is there's no fee until you win. So no matter how you got injured,
remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Individual rates, coverage, offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. Hey, small business owner, when's the last time you checked your workers' comp rate? For many small businesses, workers' comp insurance is one of their biggest costs. But some don't check their rate often. Did you know rates can vary? In fact, taking 3 minutes to check your rate with Pi Insurance could save you up to 30%. Just go to trypi.com, share a few details about your business, and get a quote that's customized for you with no hassle or hidden fees. We know you're busy, but spending just a few minutes to check your rate could save you money. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. See how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi, or get a quote at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
You've heard the saying, penny wise, pound foolish, right? It means you do something that will save you a little bit right now, just pennies, but that ends up costing you pounds in the end.
People put off tuning up their furnace because they don't want to take the time or spend the money to get it done.
But it only takes 90 minutes and costs just $87, which is just pennies compared to the huge problems and expenses that can rack up if you don't get your furnace tuned up.
You'll also save money on your energy bills, and your system will last longer.
So don't be penny wise and pound foolish. Call Bell Brothers for a precision tune-up and professional cleaning today.
Our number is 916-444-1234, or find us online at thenosurpriseguys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines. It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Bean business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Welcome into Cattles and Rami with special guests in for Cattles, Whitey Gleason, right now.
Your afternoon home for Kings talk and more.
This is Cattles and Rami
on Sactown Sports.
That is the show. Cattles in Vegas. JJ in Vegas. Kyle, Simone, other side of the glass. Whitey Gleason in for the one and only Nick Cattles. I am Rami Makloff. Coming up on the show in just about 15 minutes. The latest on Aaron Rodgers and also what should be a not so crazy idea for the 49ers, but as we sit here today, probably kind of a crazy idea for the 49ers. But speaking of the NFL, speaking of football, kind of flew off the radar. Darren Waller traded by the Raiders earlier this week. We mentioned it, but we didn't spend a lot of time on it.
He said he was surprised.
He was surprised by it. His wife was surprised by it, Kelsey Plum of the Las Vegas Aces, WNBA All-Star, and she joked that maybe he was traded because they didn't invite Josh McDaniels to the wedding. Waller and Plum, according to some people, some sources, a little upset with Josh McDaniels because he leaked to the media when their wedding would be when talking at the Combine last week, something that they didn't necessarily want out there.
Weird.
And then Waller traded, and as you mentioned, Whitey, Waller himself caught off guard by the Raiders' move.
I did not see this coming. I was getting ready to, just do everything I could to make myself available for the Raiders and get ready for everything that was going to start in mid-April. So it caught me off guard, but it's the nature of the business.
So that was Darren Waller, caught off guard. Didn't expect to be traded by Josh McDaniels and the Raiders. Over at The Athletic, they were doing NFL free agency takeaways, winners, losers, as you often see in the wake of trade deadline days, free agency, et cetera, et cetera. And they were asking which team won the Darren Waller trade, which team got the better end of the deal. And one of their NFL beat writers, Kalen Collar, I think I got that right, says, does Darren Waller count as a team? No, seriously, Waller won this trade. The NFLPA report card specifically called out Josh McDaniels and his staff as the Raiders' lowest graded category. The report card raved about Las Vegas's facility, but said this about McDaniels. Player respondents felt that head coach Josh McDaniels is less likely to listen to his players and keeps them for longer hours than other head coaches around the league. The Athletic's Vic Tafer also reported that Waller was mad at McDaniels for leaking the date of his wedding. So, yeah, I think Waller will play a lot more this season than we saw him last year. First of all, Whitey, I think just kind of a dumb trade.
What does Silver and Black get back from?
They got a third round pick.
Third round compensatory pick. It was the same pick that was traded to them for Kadarius Toney.
Call me crazy. If I'm trying to win a football game today, give me Darren Waller over anybody I might get in the third round.
Yeah,
just going to throw that out there. And what I said the day that they made the trade was, if Darren Waller doesn't fit in your system, if you're Josh McDaniels and you're like, bad fit, make him fit. You know what I mean? Be a little flexible and adaptable. And when you have really good, really talented NFL players at prime positions, work around that and see how you can maybe make it work and you can get some production out of them.
Who's the quarterback there now? And is it someone who might be more inclined to throw shorter routes to a tight end? I mean, just theoretically looking at this stuff.
Some guy I don't know if many around here are familiar with him. He goes by the name of Jimmy Garoppolo. Some people call him
James Richard Garoppolo.
Yes,
okay.
that's the one. Jimmy G, also known as attractive dude, handsome.
He's not exactly Randall Cunningham when it comes to out, right?
He's not going to drop back and airmail it 60 yards.
Okay.
But so I was thinking about this Darren Waller trade and how you traded away good talent that could help you win, and it's confusing. Nobody really knows why. He couldn't make it work with his quarterback. And all along, I've been drawing comparisons to this and Josh McDaniels' first go around as a head coach in Denver, where he said he learned lessons from that he could have handled that better and he could have learned lessons. First of all, the players saying that you're less likely to listen to them and more likely to keep them for longer hours than other head coaches doesn't really scream you learned your lesson. You know what I mean? He's one of these hard-headed, old school, more is always better type of NFL guys. And I think you have a new modern class of NFL head coaches who realize more is not always better. And maybe giving my guy a little time away from the field to sort of unwind and have a life, decompress.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it'll be better for me in the hours I actually have him here.
Maybe he'll be a better football player if I do that.
So that right there bothered me we knew that about, I mean, it's right there in black and white. His players have said that. That bothered me about Josh McDaniels. But
what is it about you and Josh McDaniels?
He's what I'm going to tell you right now. He did the same thing in Denver. He got there. Jay Cutler's got to go. Brandon Marshall's got to go. Josh McDaniels is an insecure dude. And Josh McDaniels, I think, looks at a football team, an organization, the way that like a lion looks at a pride. And he walks in there and he goes, I have to be the one and only alpha. And I got to weed out anybody else around here who's got any sort of power, any sort of influence. And that's why David Carr had to go. Or Derek Carr, excuse me. That's why Darren Waller had to go.
David Carr went a while ago, but you're right.
It's why Jay Cutler had to go. It's why Brandon Marshall had to go. This guy is insecure. He's intimidated, and he's got to come in, and he's got to be the leader of the pack. And anybody who might have any sort of authority or leadership or sway in the pack, they got to go. I got to weed them out first, and then I can implement my plan and my culture and what I want to do here. He is not okay with other quote unquote alphas in his pack. He's got to come in and clear all that out for him to feel safe and secure and like he's in charge and he's the leader. You know what I do? I know guys like this. Okay. They're across the board. That's not just in sports. I've run into him in radio. I've run into him when I played sports. He is definitely that guy who's just intimidated by any sort of co-authority, any sort of co-leader, any sort of
threat to his,
any co-alpha.
Yeah,
they got to be weeded out. I got to be the one. I got to be the dominant guy. That's who Josh McDaniels is, and I think that's a really unhealthy and unsuccessful way to lead, Whitey. I don't know about you, but that will be the downfall of him and the Raiders when this is all said and done.
There is an alternate theory, and I don't mean to undercut what you're saying.
Yeah.
I think the company line on this would be, hey, you know what? Ziegler, the new GM, that's what GMs do sometimes. They come in, they want to get their own guys in there. It has nothing to do with Josh McDaniels. Again, I'm just giving you the company line. From the Raiders, I'd say, look, you're wrong about that. I mean, Josh McDaniels has had his problems, but this is about a GM coming in, and he wants to get his own guys in there. Like Jimmy is his guy, and he doesn't want to inherit. He doesn't want to keep all these players that he inherited from the Mike Mayock.
That's
regime.
possible.
I mean,
It's too similar to what we saw in Denver.
And this one is weird with the whole thing with the wedding, and it's bizarre.
It is weird. He's a weird dude, right?
Yeah. I do want to shout out RG3, who, when talking about the wedding and him leaking it, said, I knew Josh McDaniels wasn't a romantic when he left the Colts at the altar.
Fair.
Hello.
Fair. Well played. Well played by RG3. I like it. So that's just my theory. I'm just putting it out there. We'll stick with some NFL talk. Get back to the Kings. Get back to the NBA. At 5 o'clock, talk about last night's win. Maybe the Kings are even getting better. That's coming up at 5. Right after this, though, the latest on Aaron Rodgers and a crazy idea about the 49ers that maybe should not be so crazy.
Cattles
and Rami.
Sactown Sports. The only place you'll find Keegan Murray is Sactown Sports.
Out to Keegan Murray, straight away for 3, and Keegan knocks down the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Keegan Murray, and you're listening to the home of Sacramento Kings, Sactown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by the Arnold Law Firm.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the mid-40s. Nice day tomorrow. Sun and clouds with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
The Arnold Law Firm has seen how a collision can turn anyone's life upside down in a heartbeat. So remember to be a little more alert on the road and stay safe. The Arnold Law Firm, providing real justice for you since 1975. Call 916-777-7777.
O'Reilly.
Protect your engine against sludge and wear with a synthetic oil change. O'Reilly Auto Parts has 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $35.95. Plus, get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people can recommend the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pans, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. And at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we are proud to provide our best selection to get you there. Buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Hey, you want to be around people having a great time? You need to come check out Capital Casino, offering the most varieties of table games in the region in the friendliest environment. Come for the food, which is awesome, of course, and stay and play. Conveniently located in downtown Sacramento at 411 North 16th Street. Right there in downtown Sacramento for over 20 years. Cap Casino, best food, best games, and of course, the best action. And please gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Thanks to the Xfinity 10G network, my little brother's friends won't leave our house. When I was their age, internet with basically no interruptions was a pipe dream.
You sound like my grandpa. Now through March 21st, new customers can get 1 gig internet on the Xfinity 10G network. It's just $30 a month for 2 years when you add mobile with unlimited data. Go to Xfinity.com/10G, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Requires paperless billing and autopay with stored bank account. Restrictions apply. Taxes and fees extra. Xfinity Mobile requires Xfinity internet. After promo, regular rates apply to internet service and devices. Actual speeds vary.
The folks at M&S Auto know that inflation is tough on everybody. If you need an excellent, gently used car or truck, M&S has hundreds of vehicles on the lot on El Camino, just off the Cap City Freeway. M&S customers get great deals and they save thousands. Get a great deal now on super clean 4x4s, including Tacomas, Silverados, and Jeeps, and muscle cars, Challengers, Teslas, Mustangs, and even the occasional McLaren. M&S Auto, msautogroup.com.
Your insurance company has an adjuster, shouldn't you? Call 888-GREENSPAN. They handle major insured claims from collapsed and falling trees. They represent you, not your insurance company. When you go to court, you take a lawyer. When you have a claim, engage a private adjuster to level the playing field. Receive correct and fair insurance claim settlements for property damage. Call 888-GREENSPAN today. That's 888-473-6277. California DOI license number 2E11301.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, and Woodland. Chad, what's going on for Ram Truck Month?
This month, you can save up to $10,000 off MSRP on new 2023 Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs. Plus, we have over 600 new Ram trucks available, which means we have the truck you want at the price that will work for you. That's what makes us California's #1 Ram truck dealer and #3 in the nation.
Oh, with all the options in Sacramento, how does Hoblet manage to be the #1 Ram truck dealer over and over again?
Well, our true pricing policy is a big part of it. The price you see is the price you pay. No bait and switch or surprise add-ons like other places. Plus, we know times are getting harder, which is why we don't mark up our trucks like everyone else.
Hey, if you're tired of being taken advantage of or just being the next sucker, come experience the difference at the Hoblet Ram Truck Center or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Best prices, best selection, period.
10,000 total net savings after 4,000 factory rebates and 6,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $1,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Must finance with Chrysler Capital qualifying $1,000 case, C&H, or New Holland equipment cash. Must have purchased qualifying equipment after December 1st, 2020 to qualify. 5 of this net savings. See dealer for details.
Cattles and Rami.
Cattles and Rami. Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
That's the show. No Cattles. A little well-deserved time off in Las Vegas. Wondering if him and JJ will actually connect out there. Simone put it on the record that they will not
I have a knack for these things.
Those plans will not come together of JJ.
Do you really think it's well deserved? You say that, that's nice.
No,
but
it
is
is
really well deserved.
It is. Yeah, because Nick is unrelenting. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Very detailed. Very detailed.
You know what I was saying? Josh McDaniels is one of those always believes more is better type of guys. Nick believes that, but not in like an obnoxious, annoying way like Josh McDaniels probably does. Nick does. He cannot turn it off. So
Gotcha.
I'm hoping he's in Vegas turning it off right now because it would be good for him. It would very much.
And good for you, it sounds like, in a way.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. It's a day off.
Unplugging by watching Fairleigh Dickinson versus Purdue.
You hit the nail. It's kind of a day off for me too.
Yeah,
you hit the nail.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I love my co-host. I'm kidding. Come on. This isn't an Aaron Rodgers and the Packers situation where everybody wants out but don't know how it's going to happen. That's not what's going on here. You heard Aaron Rodgers the other day on Pat McAfee says he wants to play for the New York Jets, but waiting for compensation to be worked out between the two sides, Whitey. And per multiple sources, the Packers want a first-round pick and more from the Jets for Rodgers. I don't know, Whitey. I sit here and I don't see the leverage that the Green Bay Packers have when they clearly don't want Aaron Rodgers back. He would only be a pain in their neck if financially and in terms of the media circus if he ended up back in Green Bay somehow next year. Where do they get off asking for a first-round pick?
I would ask for it, too. It doesn't mean they're going to get it,
sure.
Right? He's got them over a barrel of the situation they're in now. As you say, Aaron Rodgers could come back. So, yeah, I don't blame him for asking. Is he honestly worth – yeah, you look at the market, you're not going to get that. Is he actually, in all fairness, actually worth anything close to that?
No, because he wants to go to one team. Mm-hmm. Like it's not like you have some kind of bidding war. Like you have 3-4 teams calling you, getting in on the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. It's the Jets, and that's it.
He also wasn't great last year.
He wasn't great.
I know you're from there, and
I'm a Bears fan. I'm originally from Chicago.
That's right.
I respect his abilities, but
I wear your jersey near.
I hate the man. Yeah. I hate the man with all my heart. Strictly football. I mean,
because he owns your team.
Yes, he. Thanks, White.
Thank you for saying that. I'm just so glad that it's true. I'm just so glad
it's supposed to be a fun Friday, you guys.
Thanks, Whitey.
You think darkness is your ally.
So neither of us see it happen. I said the other day on the show.
You merely adopted the dark.
I was molded by it. Aaron Rodgers apparently molded by. I said the other day, like this is. I mean, this is Brett Favre all over again. It's not a stretch to make that comparison. And what they got for Brett Favre, because it was a similar. They knew it was one team that wanted the guy. He wanted out. You wanted him out. The leverage was all gone. They got a conditional 4th-round pick for him. That's where I start if I'm the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
We can maybe, with inflation, talk about a 3rd-round pick. You know what I mean?
Rami talking about inflation.
We maybe can move it up to a conditional 3rd-round pick, but no, it's not getting much better than that.
I know the Jets don't have a lot of apparently wonderful options, but I'm not sure
they're stuck a little bit.
I would be that excited about bringing in ayahuasca, bro.
I didn't see the light until I was already a man.
Seriously, it's like, what am I getting here?
Hey, man,
this guy holds franchises hostage, and he's not as good as he was.
I will say this though: the last time he felt slighted by the Packers and needed to go out and prove something, he won back-to-back MVPs, and he's that type of personality, and a lot of great athletes are. You know what I mean? Where spite and wanting to prove people wrong is one of the things that fuels them more than anything.
But hasn't he felt slighted by the Packers for the last, I don't know.
Yeah, but this I think this gasses up the tank again. I think this just fills up the tank again, and he goes there, and you're going to see a pretty good version of Aaron Rodgers. No matter where he lands, you'll probably see a pretty good version of Lamar Jackson. And the other day on First Take,
come on, don't do it.
Marcus Spears and Stephen A. Smith had an interesting landing spot for Lamar Jackson that some of the folks around here might like just a little bit.
First of all, San Francisco should offer Trey Lance, picks, players, whatever they could get Lamar Jackson.
No question.
Number 2, if Lamar Jackson was on the San Francisco 49ers, they're winning it all.
Yep.
They're winning it all. Go ahead.
I don't think that should be as crazy as it is. I really don't. And first of all, the craziest thing about this is for 48 hours now, teams have had the ability to put in some kind of bid on Lamar Jackson, and nobody has, which is bonkers to me.
Sickening.
When you're talking about the guy 4th in the league and wins since he's been drafted, he's got a unanimous MVP under his belt. It's ridiculous that nobody's put in a bid on him. But Whitey, I don't know.
Talking collusion? Let's be clear here.
Yeah, I am talking collusion, allegedly.
Are you talking collusion as well?
Simone, are you allegedly?
Yes.
Allegedly.
I'm
say,
with
all right,
you,
put the
Rami.
allegedly on.
I'm alleging
Allegedly.
the collusion you can't prove in court.
That's fair. That's also a good way to protect yourself. I don't know how salary caps work, Whitey. I'm not that smart. I'm convinced they're not real.
Talk stupid.
And you can always find the money if you really want it. The 49ers making a play for Lamar Jackson. I'm with Stephen A. Smith. First of all, I'm with him in saying I'd give up just a bit. Take Purdy and Lance.
Yep.
And double your chances that you have your next quarterback.
Yeah, but
take both those guys, take a 1st-round pick and Brandon Ayuk, and send Lamar Jackson back the other way, and then figure out the money, and you're winning at least one Super Bowl. At least one.
Yeah, as a constituent of the faithful, please take whatever you want within reason. We want him. We want him very much.
I heard it, gentlemen. I'm trying to think where I heard this. Maybe you guys heard it. His name is Jason Aponte, and he was on a radio show today.
I think I know. I think it was.
That was this show. That's
Cattles
right.
and
It
Rami.
was this show
Cattles and Rami.
today.
Sactown
And he was
Sports.
pointing out that one of the great things about the 49ers situation currently is that they're paying so little to their quarterbacks that they can go out and afford to get other players. And we know that quarterback's a vitally important position. It's probably not as important to the 49ers as it is to other teams, given what they run offensively. And we've seen that they've made do and nearly won Super Bowls with perhaps lesser quarterbacks with Jimmy. I just think when you consider what you'd have to give up to get him, then what you have to pay him, it doesn't make sense.
I would, again.
And that's nothing against him or his ability. Plus, you got the fact that there's a whole issue with him wanting his contract guaranteed, which I don't blame him. Football players should have that, but teams just don't want to deal with that.
I don't know how salary caps work, but I would imagine that you can work it out in a way that you sort of kick that can down the road, the salary cap can.
They are the best at doing that.
Kick it down the road a little bit, and eventually you pay the piper. But if you get two years at this roster or this core with Lamar Jackson added to it, and then you got to pay the piper, and that's when the salary cap really comes back to bite you or strangle you out. I'm okay with that, man. If you get 2 cracks at this core plus Lamar Jackson, worth whatever pain you're going to have to endure after that when it comes to the salary cap. Right, Simone? Kyle, are we all on the same page on that?
Yeah, the Saints are proof you can just keep kicking it down the road until 1 year when you decide not to. I call it the Kirk Cousins salary cap saving extension.
Is that too money aside, salary cap aside, and
yeah, I mean, you put the money aside. Yeah, it's incredible to think what he could do with McCaffrey.
The trade package I
Debo
put out there, is that too much? Purdy, Lance, 1st-round pick, and Brandon Ayuk.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Just take
it.
Take out Ayuk, and then we got it.
Take it all.
What is
wow?
Because he's what is the unrestricted tag? What did he get? I forget the term. If you were going to trade for him,
non-exclusive.
Thank you. You would have to trade the price. It's set. You'd have to give 2 first-rounders for him.
Yes.
If you signed him outright, you can go back to Baltimore and negotiate a trade.
Right. I realize that. You're right. But just using that as a template, I think you may be offering more than you need to.
I would do it, though.
Yeah.
I would do it to get Lamar Jackson. Yeah. I'd go to him and be like, I'll pay more than what you want. Just give me Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, we're not making fun of the Raiders enough for choosing Jimmy G over Lamar.
If you had Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, George Kittle.
Lights out.
You're putting up 40 a game, man. With this defense, forget it. You're winning at least 1 Super Bowl. Right after this, big, and gritty win for the Kings last night. Are they getting even better? It's the top spot next. Cattles and Rami.
Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports.
In company with Chris Watkins.
Aaron Rodgers this guy is something else, man. I definitely was fully prepared for today to be a nothing day. Thank you, Aaron. Appreciate it. I'm glad that we can all move on with our lives now. The Jets have a quarterback. He's 38, 39 years old. Congrats.
Chris and Company with Chris Watkins. Weekdays from 10 to 11.
On Sactown Sports.
For your everyday vehicle. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP oil filter for only $26.99. Do the complete job for the right price. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply. When was the last time you heard of a new car for only $298 a month? How about today at Elk Grove Kia? Your choice, 2023 Kia Forte GT or 2023 Kia Soul EX for only $298 a month. Incredible. With Elk Grove Kia's exclusive 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Why would you buy anywhere else? Worried about credit? Elk Grove Kia specializes in helping folks get the credit they deserve. No credit, little credit, bad credit, no problem. Bankruptcies, foreclosures, repos, no problem. Looking for the hard-to-find models, Tellurides, K5s, EV6s? Check us out online at elkgrovekia.com or come see us at the Elk Grove Auto Mall today. 2023 Kia Soul EX 298 plus tax 48 month lease $31.95 customer cash to assigning residual of $15,603.80 based on 10K per year 20 cents per mile over payment based on tier 1740 plus FICO score. Kia finance approval with this payment GTA 858 2023 Kia Forte GT 298 plus tax 36 month lease $39.95 customer cash to assigning residual of $13,140 based on 10K per year payment at tier 1740 plus FICO score subject to Kia finance approval with this payment GTA 8581 both expires 3/31/23.
It's been tough talking to my doctor about constipation with belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. I finally laid all my symptoms out there and how they keep coming back. She said I may have irritable bowel syndrome with constipation, or IBS-C. We agreed it's time to try something different.
Linzess, or linaclotide, is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. Linzess works differently than laxatives. It lets you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2 years old. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. There could be more to your story with IBS-C. Visit a doctor in person or online. Say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS. Sponsored by Abbey and Ironwood Pharmaceuticals.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729 or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at folsomlakeford.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary, subject to terms and conditions, not available in all areas. If you're a small business owner, listen up. Pi Insurance wants to give you one of those aha moments, the kind that could save you money. Workers' comp is probably one of the biggest costs you face. But did you know that insurance providers have flexibility in setting their prices? That's right. But many don't bother giving small businesses the savings you deserve. Instead, you can get lumped in with other businesses and overcharged. Pi Insurance was created to change that. With Pi, you get a quote tailored specifically to your business, and you could save up to 30% with no hassle and no hidden fees. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified. Take 3 minutes to see how much you could save with Pi Insurance. Ask your agent for Pi or go to trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
KHTK AM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your home for the Sacramento Kings.
It's Sactown Sports.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Team business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital, taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Kyle, please hit that top spot one time for the one time.
Did you miss the headline and the top story of the day?
Extra, we know about it.
Don't worry, because we got you covered.
This is how we do.
It's the Cattles and Rami.
Top spot.
And what else would occupy the top spot with your 2-seeded Sacramento Kings than that win over Brooklyn last night, 101-96. This team on the third of a 4-game road trip, back-to-backs, having made the flight from Chicago to Brooklyn. They lose an hour in the time zone change, and man, they were tired. There's just no, they're human. And rest is important when you're a professional athlete, and they didn't get to their hotel room until about 3:30. And Mike Brown, who's not one to take it easy on his team, he lit into him after a win on national TV last week against the New York Knicks. Even he afterwards took that into account, that his team might have been just a little bit tired.
I never imagined that I would use that word with this team this year, gritty. The guys showed grit definitely tonight. I told them I was proud of them. The game wasn't pretty offensively, but I thought we tried to get out and run. I thought we tried to move the ball. You got to give the Nets a lot of credit. They got long athletes that are 6'7" and bigger, and they just switch a lot of stuff. And sometimes that baits you into playing iso ball, which we did a couple of times tonight. And usually when that happens, we stall out, and we did at times. But I thought we were just gritty, and we found ways to get stops. And
some might say ugly. Sorry, Coach, didn't mean to step on you. Some might call it ugly, Whitey.
You just interrupted the Coach of the Year.
By the way, that's Whitey Gleason in for Nick House. It's the last hour of the show, folks. Wow. There are going to be mistakes. I forgot to reintroduce Whitey. Stepped on Mike Brown. It's hour 4 on a Friday, folks.
Working for the weekend.
All right, exactly.
You're plus minus this hours.
I'm the opposite of De'Aaron Fox. The first 3 hours, money.
Yeah,
money. Fourth quarter, done.
You're saying you're Rashawn Holmes right now?
Oh, you didn't have to by name, Kyle. You didn't have to do it.
Okay, the
by
glass is
name.
going to sleep back here.
Somebody call it ugly. The gritty was exactly the word that crossed my mind watching that game and thinking about that game afterwards, Whitey. That was a gritty victory for this basketball team.
Oh, they rebounded so well. They defended. I had to confirm that with you earlier.
Yes.
I thought they defended. Did I actually see that? Yes. And it was very impressive to me, the fact that Fox, who has been carrying them through the fourth quarters, as we know, all season long, and last night, because it was a second game of back-to-back and the travel issues, he didn't quite have it. He wasn't bad, but he didn't have that push, and it reminded me of a baseball team. Remember baseball? People used to watch baseball. Anyway, it was like, he's your closer.
Really?
And yeah, it used to be a thing. And it's like, your closer's down tonight. He didn't have the fastball. And they picked him up. And I remember Harrison Barnes taking it to the basket. And his teammates recognized that, and they still played within the flow. And it wasn't like, oh, what do we do now? It was really impressive, and it was very gritty, the way they gutted that out down the stretch. A road win, second game of a back-to-back. That's heady stuff when you're thinking about how good can we be when it comes to, playoff time.
And you mentioned the defense. Say it with your chest. You don't have to say playoffs like that. Why do you say it with your chest? No, they're going to the playoffs. Say it proudly, loudly.
Yeah.
Held them to 41.2% shooting. And I gave this number out earlier, but it bears repeating. for 47 minutes and 54 seconds. Not a single second chance or fast break point. And that only happened because Cam Johnson weaved through the Kings in the meaningless closing seconds of the game. They let him weave through and get that dunk. They called that a fast break. If not for that, it's the first time since 2015 that not just the Kings, any team in the NBA had not allowed points in either of those categories. That's remarkable when you talk about the defense of this team. By the way, also should mention, it's worth noting, obviously, first winning season since 2006 for this Kings team.
Brad Miller was on the team.
Look at that. He's got the Brad Miller bobblehead. If you're watching on YouTube, you see it, folks. And I don't think we should just blow right past that as fans. They can as players. We talked with Jordi Fernandez. You'll hear a little bit of that in the callback at 5:30. They can't be caught up or hung up on a winning season, but as fans, celebrate every little thing along the way.
And that's not a little thing.
Right.
That's a big thing.
It's a really big thing, man. It's a really big thing when you haven't tasted it in 16 years. So I think enjoy it, celebrate it, relish in it. It's just another thing to enjoy about this Kings team in this season. And Whitey, you called last night. You said that it was one of the more impressive victories of the year, and maybe a sign
in a way,
and maybe a sign that this team is getting even better, which is something that's kind of hard to believe.
Yes, because of the way they grinded one out. And this is the time of year when you would expect if the Kings were going to fade. I'm sure there's still some people out there, cynics like, yeah, it's great. Watch this. That was the type of game where you'd think you'd start to see some of the cracks, especially with Kevin Huerter getting hurt. And instead, this team, I really noticed this with the win at Phoenix last weekend. They played the exact same way with the exact same amount of intensity, whether they were up in the first quarter or down in the third quarter or it was tied down the stretch. They have such confidence, and they're such a strong team in turn. Not that, we like each other. They complement each other, and they're playing with such great confidence that I think that's one of the things that showed last night and allows them to get even better in some of those important areas like defense and rebounding.
Yeah, because we know that this team can go out and win the shootouts. We know that they can come out and just outscore you.
Some call them the best offense ever.
Best offense ever from the article we were reading by Zach Harper earlier in the show. They're averaging the most points per game since the Nuggets of the 80s, one of the highest flying teams ever in the NBA, especially since the ABA-NBA merger. And their offensive rating is the highest ever in the history. Now, there is some context in terms of the style of game today and how it's evolved and is always sort of shifting towards offense. But come playoff time, this might not be as true as it was back in the day, Whitey, with the game being as fast as it is, but it will slow down. It will get at least a little bit more physical come the postseason and the deeper you get in the postseason. So it is certainly nice to see that they got that club in their bag if they need to pull it out for a given night or a given series. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And I've said it throughout the season, expect this team to get better as the season goes on. Yeah. You got a first-year head coach. You got a lot of guys playing together for the first time in their careers. You got a rookie in Keegan Murray he would expect to just get better as the season goes on and as he figures out more about the NBA in this game and more about himself as Mike Brown and the staff keep trying to unlock things about him. It might be a crazy thought for Kings fans right now, and especially just trying to enjoy and process how good this thing has been. It's a crazy thought for them and a scary thought for the rest of the Western Conference in the NBA. But yeah, man, the arrow might still be pointed up on a Kings team that has 42 wins, is 15 games above 500, sit number 2 in the Western Conference. Like that's wild enough on its own, Whitey. But the fact that the arrow might still be pointed up on this team, bright days are ahead for the Kings.
You pointed out a few moments ago that after the Kings beat the Knicks, Mike Brown was hard on them. And why was he hard on them? Because he talked about we can't give up that many second chance points, even though we won. Well, look at what happened last night. Look what the job they did rebounding the ball. So maybe message, eventually receive there. And that's why I thought it was so interesting what he said last night. You just played the clip. And he says, I never thought I'd call his team gritty. And he's smiling. But he's talking to his team there. Like, this is what you have to be, right? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I never thought I'd call this team gritty. It's like he's calling out his team there because he knows that they still need to be challenged in that area. That's just one area, another area in which he's doing a really exceptional job this year.
And the Kings, a point I've made about this team, and one of the things I love about him, Whitey, is whether it's Mike Brown challenging them, whether it's just, a heavyweight opponent in the opposite corner, now they don't win every time, but when they're challenged, they answer the call more times than not, even if it's not a W, like against the Bucks. That was a challenge, man. You saw a team that was championship caliber, and that was the first championship caliber team you'd seen in a while, and they went toe-to-toe with them and exchanged heavyweight blows with them for 4 quarters. And at the end, you found out why you weren't quite there yet, but they were up to the challenge. And Mike Brown, after that Knicks game, calls them out despite the win. They come out the next night. They really, really minimized Phoenix's impact on the offensive boards, and they were one of the best rebounding teams in the league, and I think they still are taking to heart. And that message is still rattling around in their heads of what Mike Brown said after that Knicks game. And you saw it last night against Brooklyn. You saw it against the Bulls. They heard what Mike Brown said.
Yes,
and these guys want to be every bit as Mike Brown says and believes that they can be.
Yes, he has their attention. He has their full attention. He has their full buy-in because they believe in him and they want to win. And it's just it makes me shake my head to think about the deadline and the Kings. Hey, maybe they can get Plumlee. We'll see. It'd be great if they added defensively. And then you had the Clippers and the Suns and the Mavs make these big moves. The Mavs are like, but those two guys, Luka and Kyrie, they mesh okay, but they don't defend. Phoenix, of course, like what happened to Durant? And then the Clippers have struggled at times with the fit with Westbrook, whereas the Kings get Kessler Edwards, and they've won 8 of their last 10. It's just amazing.
And you mentioned Kessler Edwards. You mentioned getting people's attention. We're going to talk about Kessler Edwards after a 90-second break here and how much attention this young man deserves exactly. That's next, Cattles and Rami.
Cattles and Rami.
Sactown Sports. Check out the Golf to Go Hour with Frank LaRosa every week on Sactown Sports. Get the latest on equipment, area courses, people who play the great game, and plenty of good conversations about golf. It's the Golf to Go Hour every week with Frank LaRosa on Sactown Sports. Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, America's most awarded golf facility. Nature Wood Home Furnishings, where it's all about choices and always about quality.
O'Reilly. Don't risk getting stranded with a bad battery. Let the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts test your battery for free. If it needs to be replaced, get up to a $15 O'Reilly gift card after rebate with purchase of select Superstart batteries. For power, performance, and reliability, choose Superstart batteries at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's really nothing better than hitting the open road in a new Honda. And at Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, we are proud to provide our best selection to get you there. Buying from Stockton Honda couldn't be smoother. Wherever the road you travel might lead, Stockton Honda is happy to get you there.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claim based on 2022 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own report.
Live and local in the afternoon.
They always keep you on edge.
Cattles
and Rami
on Sactown Sports.
That's the show. Rami here. Cattles in Vegas. JJ in Vegas. Kyle, Simone, other side of the glass. Whitey in for Nick this afternoon. Whitey Gleason.
Thanks for having me here today.
That is. We'll hear from
appreciate it.
King's assistant coach. Thank you for doing it. We appreciate you. Jordi Fernandez. We'll hear from him coming up at 5:30. In other news, before we get out of here at 5:45. But Kessler Edwards last night, again, contributing in a win and played most of the last 5 minutes over Keegan Murray, of all people. And that was with Kevin Huerter out of the game with the hamstring injury. By the way, in case you're just tuning in, haven't heard, MRI is negative. Kevin Huerter day-to-day with the hamstring injury, so that's good news. But Kessler Edwards, almost said Kessler Murray there, off the bench last night in 24 minutes, 10 points. He grabs 3 rebounds, dishes out an assist, and again, helps you out on defense and flash some defensive ability. And he said after the game, he didn't hide from the fact the Nets were the team that traded him to the Kings, and for not much, for basically a bag of basketballs, and he had this one circled on his calendar.
It means a lot. I've been looking forward to this game ever since I got traded. So the fact that I was able to come back here, get significant minutes, finish the game out with a win, it was probably one of the fun games in my career so far. So it felt good.
He wanted this one. He showed it. 4 of 6 from the field, 2 of 4 from 3. And he is, we talked about it before the break, getting some attention, including the attention of his head coach, Mike Brown, impressed with what the young man did last night. And he told us so.
I think he's really good on Mike Brown. I'm really glad he's on the team.
That's all right. That's all right. We won't hear from Coach, but that's okay. Live radio, and it happens. Oh, we do have Mike Brown. Here's Mike Brown.
The big thing that he did, he just kept himself ready, and that ball found him a couple of times. And what I like about him is he's not afraid of the moment. He's going to step in and let that thing fly, and we want all our guys to be able to do that. And had a great cut when Domas got double teamed coming back to the ball. I don't know how he made the pass to, I don't know who it was, Malik, I think, in the corner. Malik hits a big three. That was a huge play. And then, he had a couple of rebounds that were big for us. And to do those things while guarding Spencer Dinwiddie, guarding Mikal Bridges, guarding guys like that, DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, just to be able to keep your poise, keep trying to show your hands, keep trying to do all the other little things that we're asking him to do.
You were talking before the break, Whitey, about the fact that, you were watching literally all 9 teams in the playoff / play-in picture made moves leading up to the trade deadline. 9 of the 10, the only one that didn't make major moves was the Kings. And the only move that they made was Kessler Edwards. And I think most Kings fans, they looked at that as like, okay, like maybe this guy,
a little disappointment
there. Disappointment.
Overall.
And maybe this guy's like a project who can be like a bench player a year or 2 down the road. I don't think anybody thought he could be a contributor for this team this year. Do you think he's shown enough that he's earned some playoff minutes, some playoff run in rotation?
He's on track for that. Obviously, he's got to keep it up. But Frankie made an interesting point today in the station. He said, people are going to remember this year. This is going to be one of those years that in years to come, people are going to look back on this year. Oh, I remember that game and that game. To your point, I think one of the things I'll always remember about Kessler Edwards was, again, that game last weekend against Phoenix when he came in a key situation and he took a horrible shot, missed everything. Then I think he turned the ball over. Then he came back and made a huge shot. As Mike Brown said, he's not afraid to let it fly.
Right.
That's big time. For a guy who doesn't play to make a really, take a bad shot. And maybe the smart thing would be, I better give it up here. And he just let it fly. So yeah, he's definitely on track to not only getting playoff minutes, but to being a really important part. If he can continue to defend, you make threes and defend, every team has a spot for you.
Yeah. One of the things that I love about Mike Brown and his coaching style, and as well as just the culture of this team. And I think it's a common trait with just about any winning team, is the ability to foster belief in each other. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think Kessler Edwards has that instinct that you talked about of coming down and taking that shot, even though he just missed a terrible shot a couple possessions before. I think on some level, you either have that wired into you or you don't. Right. Or the moment isn't too big for you and you have confidence in yourself. But also, it helps when you have a coach that's saying, "Hey, let it fly. Don't let that get you down." And you have teammates that are saying, "Hey, keep shooting. I know that last one was ugly, but keep shooting." That's a powerful thing. You know what that's a really powerful win to have at your back, especially when you're somebody like a Kessler Edwards who doesn't have a long track record in this league. You know what I mean? The less success you have in a league, the shorter a track record, the easier it is to lose confidence in yourself. And so I think it's huge for him to come here, be a part of this thing with the tide moving really fast in the right direction, and having a coach and teammates that are saying, "No, man, you're part of this. Go and let it fly, and don't let it get you down if you do miss a shot or two." And the reason why I think he definitely could be earning himself some playoff minutes is because of something we talked about all season, which is this team is lacking that 3-and-D wing off the bench. Nobody thought you were getting that in Kessler Edwards, at least not one that was ready to help you now. If he can give you that, it goes back to something we talked about earlier in the show. Different ways to put the puzzle together, different matchups, different types of teams you're going to see as the playoffs go along, and being able to go to different combinations and rotations and lineups. Kessler Edwards gives you something you have not had coming off the bench for this team to this point in the season. I think, like you said, if he continues to do this to the end of the season, you can't keep that dude on the bench for the entirety of a playoff run.
Yeah, not easy to keep it going, but if he does, he's on track for that. I want to give the coaching staff and the GM credit, but the players always deserve most of the credit. I know in the past I've been guilty of saying, manager did this or that, and Coco Crisp told me one time, it taught me a lesson. So Kessler gets most of the credit for this, no question. But the coaching staff and the GMs have done a great job of finding not only Kessler Edwards now, but all these players, guys that, all right, they're going to be able to do what we do, how we do it in the half court, player movement, ball movement. That's what it's all about. It's a great job of recognizing this guy fits what we do. Because I think of the Kelly Oubre with the Warriors a couple of years ago, and I thought Kelly Oubre is really good. This will be great. And it's like, he didn't even know where to stand. So, and it's just, and he puts up numbers with no, he ain't a guy for this system. So great job, Kessler Edwards mostly, but also the coaches and the GM for recognizing that's a guy who can do things the way we do things.
Yep. It's been another one of those really cool things to watch about this basketball team and seeing how much they enjoy like his teammates and putting the defensive player of the game chain on him a couple of nights ago, seeing how much they're enjoying watching Kessler Edwards find himself in the NBA. I love that about this locker room, man. It's an easy and fun bunch to root for that you got here in Sacramento. Right after this, one of the guys who's helping Coach Brown lead that charge, assistant coach Jordi Fernandez. We'll hear from him in the callback.
Cattles
and Rami.
Sactown Sports. Catch every Niners game right here.
It's a new partnership. It's a new day. We're going to be able to build some things together. But let's not fool anybody. This has always been a Niners town.
Here's Purdy out of the gun looking for McCaffrey on the goal line. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Sactown Sports, your official home for 49ers football in the 916.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the mid-40s. Nice day tomorrow. Sun and clouds with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA3 News and the KCRA3 app.
Make your New Year's resolutions yet? Let me help. Trade out of that old car and into something safe and reliable, like a new Folsom Lake Kia with a low payment. Shop Folsom Lake Kia, family owned for over 20 years.
The Amish have a reputation for craftsmanship, determination, and quality. Hi, this is Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Those virtues sound quite similar to the Keys family and the day-to-day values on display at Naturewood. The Amish furniture craftsmanship begins with the finest hardwood, shaping and molding the raw materials into one-of-a-kind art. In addition to the classic styles long sought and revered by discriminating furniture lovers, Naturewood Home Furnishings offers a vast selection that includes transitional, modern, farmhouse, arts and crafts, and other stunning styles, all available in the ultimate Amish standard of excellence built over centuries. All Naturewood Amish furniture is on sale right now for a limited time. Let the Naturewood team guide you through their selection of Amish furniture that will be with you forever. Naturewood Home Furnishings off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
2 minutes left. 2 minutes left. Hands up. No fouls. No fouls. Yes. Great job. Timeout. Hello, Sacramento, and all you listeners, it's Doug Christie here for the Good Feet store. Did you know that when your feet are not properly supported, your whole body can become misaligned, causing pain in your feet, knees, hips, or back? Good Feet arch supports are designed to support all four arches of the foot, placing the feet in their ideal pain-relieving position and aligning the body from the feet up. Good Feet arch supports come in a wide range of over 300 styles, flexibilities, and sizes, so customers can be be precisely fit with the art supports that meets their personal needs. It's one reason why Good Feet art supports are only available at the Good Feet store. Visit the Good Feet store now for a free personalized art support fitting and then take them for a walk. Experience for yourself the pain-relieving comfort, balance, and support of Good Feet. In Sacramento, Roseville, Stockton, Modesto, and Vacaville. Online at goodfeet.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cockrell, the Retirement Security Center for the Weekly Economic Update. The four most common letters you may be hearing this week are FDIC. This stands for Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and its primary function is to provide liquidity to depositors in the banking sector. Deposits made to an FDIC-insured bank are guaranteed up to $250,000 for registration and institution. When you make a deposit to a bank, they loan out or invest the majority of the assets, but keep something called a required reserve. The bank stays solvent unless too many depositors request their funds over and above that required reserve. This causes a liquidity crisis for the bank. If you deposit under $250,000 and your bank is unable to provide for your desired withdrawals, the FDIC steps in, takes over the bank and its assets, provides its liquidity, and unwinds the assets of that bank over time in a more measured manner. Confidence in our banking institutions is key to our economic system. Over time, the federal government has added regulations to help avoid bank liquidity issues. In this case, the system worked perfectly. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Frank Cockrell is a registered representative of Lincoln Financial Advisors Corporation, a broker-dealer member SIPC and registered investment advisor. Retirement Security Centers is not an affiliate of Lincoln Financial Advisors.
Your insurance company has an adjuster, shouldn't you? Call 888-GREENSPAN. They handle major insured claims from collapsed and falling trees. They represent you, not your insurance company. For over 75 years, Greenspan has been there for property owners, helping thousands of businesses, families, and communities receive correct and fair insurance claim settlements for property damage. Greenspan is your private adjuster, leveling the playing field. Call 888-GREENSPAN today. That's 888-473-6277. California DOI license number 2E11301.
Sactown Sports.
Headlines.
It's Simone Rickford with your Sactown Sports headlines. Even though it was the second night of a back-to-back, Sacramento Kings found a way to manage a win with no sleep till Brooklyn.
Final seconds tick away. The win tonight is the 42nd of the season against 27 losses. They protect that number 2 spot in the Western Conference.
Bean business is booming because the Kings have officially clinched their first winning season since 2005-2006. More good news for Sacramento and Kings guard Kevin Huerter as the MRI on his right hamstring came back clean following yesterday's contest. For more information on Red Velvet's status and this historic Kings run, be sure to check out SactownSports.com and our Sactown Sports app. Those hotter-than-fish grease Kings are back in action tomorrow night in the nation's capital taking on the Wizards. Tip-off slated for 5 right here on Sactown Sports with game night coverage jumping off at 3:30. I'm Simone. Those are your headlines. Happy Friday. Kyle, please hit the call back.
I'm going to light up these phone lines.
The phone is ringing, and we are checking to see who's on the line.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
News, gossip, a story.
Okay, who's the next victim?
It's the callback
on Cattles and Rami.
That's what it is. No Cattles. Rami's here, as well as Whitey Gleason in for Nick Cattles. And we had the distinct pleasure of talking with Kings assistant coach Jordi Fernandez earlier in the show. And Whitey, you asked him about Domas and playing with the injury and how that sort of sets the tone or the example for this team. And he brought up the fact that, yes, Domas, but also, do we have it loaded and ready to go? Also, Keegan Murray kind of sets that tone as well.
No, Keegan is a superstar, a rock star. He's even keeled. He, plays, really hard and, like, as you know, he may not show his emotions, but he cares and he tries to get better every day. He is a rookie starting in a winning team in the West. So it's a big challenge, but he's responding. And, we've seen Keegan scoring a lot of points. We've seen Keegan struggling with certain matchups. And we've seen Keegan that even he struggles to score. Now, the other day, he rebounded very well. Yesterday, he had a very good defensive half against Mikal Bridges, who's a very, very good player. So Keegan has been amazing for our group, and he's just going to get better.
When he first said that, Whitey, it raised my eyebrows, almost made alarms go up because I was like, is Keegan Murray dealing with more injury wise than what we thought? But I think what Coach Fernandez was saying there was watching Keegan Murray as a rookie go through the ups and the downs of a season and stay right here, stay even keel, that guys look at him and go, if a rookie can do that, then I can. And I never thought about that, of a rookie being able to sort of set that tone that way, that even keel tone. If we don't get too high, we don't get too low when things are good and when things are bad. I never thought about it, but that could be a powerful thing for a basketball team, for a rookie to be able to set that kind of example.
It's also possible that he does have something that's a little nagging that, we all do that, that we're not really aware of. That's been a little bit of an issue for him. And Coach Fernandez caught himself and realized, we don't really need to talk about that.
My duplitius muscle this morning. I
was going to say, it looks a little
right?
swollen.
Yeah. Did you notice a little bit of a hitch in my giddy up?
Yeah.
Because of my duplitius.
This guy's got bad duplitius right there. Look at that.
Catch up. Just catch up on you, that duplitius. Also, speaking of injuries, obviously the injury on most Kings fans' minds today is that of Kevin Huerter, who left last night's victory over Brooklyn with a hamstring injury, limped off and didn't come back. And you're wondering when Kevin Huerter might be ready, might be back. We found out today that he's day-to-day. MRI was negative. Here's what Jordi said about the Kevin Huerter injury and what it might mean for this basketball team.
Losing Kevin would have been, not good for the rest of the team. He, as you said, plays a big role for us. Plays a lot of second side pick and roll, a lot of shooting, But the good news, is he's day to day. I talked to him today. He's in a good place. So whenever he's ready to come back, we'll be happy to have him back. At the same time, I think right now, because we have a deep roster and the rest of the players have played very well, we'll be able to compete. So it's good that if he's back right away, great for us. If he's not and needs a day or two, then it's an opportunity for somebody else. And we'll be happy for that next guy to step up and have a bigger role.
That's great news, Whitey. That doesn't look like Kevin Huerter is going to miss much time and is in good spirits, as you heard Coach Fernandez say there. Because it's a weird thing to say when the guy is hurt and probably won't be available to him tomorrow in Washington, and I'm guessing for at least a few games after that. But it's another stroke of luck for this Kings team when you talk about the injury situation that they've had. Their starting five has played 90+% of their potential minutes so far this season, which is leaps and bounds ahead of just about everybody else in the NBA, or the second place team. When you talk about that, it's good that it doesn't look like he'll miss much time. In the meantime, though, every game is big. You're jockeying for position here. You're trying to hold on to the 2 seed in the Western Conference, or at least get a home playoff series and hold off a couple of teams. They are going to need some guys to step up and fill that void that a Kevin Huerter leaves for however long he's gone, if they're going to hold on to this strong position that they put themselves in.
So you want to hear my idea for a song?
Please.
I'm no Mo Reagan, but
yes.
The offense has been so good. So the song "Knocking on Heaven's Door."
Yes.
Yeah. So this would be sung by another team, and they're like lamenting they can't stop this team. It's Fox, Keegan, and Kevin score.
Yes.
Fox, Keegan, and Kevin score.
Fox, Keegan, and Kevin score.
Yeah. And they're like, we don't want to play those guys. They're too good. Fox, Keegan,
and Kevin score.
Yeah. That's my idea. So we need him back.
I love it.
He's going to come back.
I love it.
Yeah.
For me, Keegan Murray, with the guy we were just talking about, he more than anybody is what I'm looking at to fill this void, though. Yeah. He's gone a little cold lately in terms of the scoring. He does other things, and as Coach Fernandez said, he's not gonna get down. But we need that 3-point shooting that you're missing with a Kevin Huerter. You'd like to get it back from a Keegan Murray in the meantime, at least till whenever you get Kevin Huerter back. Also, you, Whitey, asked him about the possibility after rumors a couple weeks ago that the Atlanta Hawks were interested in Jordi Fernandez as a head coach. They have their head coach. They made their hire, so it won't be Atlanta. But someday, somebody is going to come knocking on Jordi's door. And this is what he had to say.
Right now, my focus is to make his life better, like you said. And I just take every single day as a learning day on how to build and how to build relationships and how to lead a project, how to lead a team, how to be a good people and holding people accountable, and being a really, really good human, either, sometimes making mistakes, but owning it and moving forward. All those things make Coach Brown who he is. Me personally, I'm extremely lucky that, he brought me here and I'm here with him right now. And like you said, maybe one day is my chance to be a head coach, but right now my mind is to be in the playoffs in Sacramento and be here for, a long time with him.
I think he could be a really good one, Whitey.
He will be.
You don't want to lose him, but it's one of the costs of winning. You know what I mean? People are going to want to poach guys from you. There will be somebody off this Kings bench probably that somebody comes to call in to give a starting job somewhere, and there will be guys off of Mike Brown's bench and his staff that are going to be head coaches elsewhere, probably starting with the Jordi Fernandez, I would imagine.
Yeah, just look at the Warriors when they won in 2015. What a great staff they had, and Mike Brown wasn't even part of that staff at that point.
True.
But he had to replace because Luke Walton, we all know what happened there. But, yeah, it happens when you have a successful program.
And you can sort of extract this out to another sport and a team that's been dealing with this for a few years and have done a really good job of dealing with it. You look at the 49ers. And how Kyle Shanahan's staff keeps every year gets somebody. D'Amico Ryan's the latest to get the head coaching job in Houston.
Salah.
He takes guys with him too. When you talk about a passing game coordinator or whatever the case might be.
Mike McDaniel,
to sustain long-term success, you got to know how to restock that cupboard when teams come calling for your assistant coaches and want to make them head coaches, because it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen, and there's really nothing you can do about it. We'll hit a quick break. On the other side, it's Friday. We like to wrap it up on a lighthearted note. In other news, next on Cattles and Rami.
It's obvious.
What?
It's almost as obvious as Mike Brown for Coach of the Year.
Ooh, here we go.
Sean Cunningham's not so certain about that, apparently. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man?
I mean, first of all, Mike Brown probably doesn't want it. Secondly, I don't have a vote, so calm down, folks, and it's an opinion. And
I know. I just want to change your opinion. I want to have that influence over you. I'm the puppet master.
I mean, look.
Deuce and Mo, weekdays from 11 to 2 on Sactown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Bonnie.
I'm Mark Finan in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. Skies will stay partly cloudy tonight with overnight lows in the mid-40s. Nice day tomorrow. Sun and clouds with highs in the upper 60s to near 70. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
When it comes to your sewer, what goes down must come out. Get a detailed video inspection absolutely free with any sewer drain cleaning and keep life flowing in the right direction. Plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air, Bonnie.com.
Folsom Lake Ford has trucks. The F-150s are here. Explorers, Expeditions, and a huge selection of Broncos and Bronco Sports. They're in stock now at Folsom Lake Ford. Shop Folsom Lake Ford, your truck headquarters, right here in Sacramento for your favorite Ford models at good, fair prices. Short on cash? Buy any new Ford with zero down. Save big with low interest finance rates. Plus, Folsom Lake Ford is paying top dollar for all trades. We want your vehicle regardless of mileage or condition. This could be the best time to buy a new Ford. Check out the huge inventory online at FolsomLakeFord.com or stop by the dealership and see the most recent arrivals. Looking for something special? Give them a call and tell them Doug Christie sent you. Folsom Lake Ford in the Folsom Auto Mall, your trusted dealer, my trusted dealer for over 30 years. FolsomLakeFord.com.
Zero down with approved credit.
At Elk Grove Honda, not only do we have a great selection of pre-owned certified cars at very fair prices, but every one of our pre-owned automobiles are treated with kid gloves with a 182-point inspection that covers everything from unibody to tires to brakes and engine filters. Then our certified cars receive a mobile oil change and fresh fill-up with full synthetic mobile oil. We know you have lots of choices of where to purchase your next car. Come to Elk Grove Honda, home of the 182-point inspection and mobile oil change. We're in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 at Elk Grove Boulevard.
Individual rates, coverage offerings, and savings may vary. Subject to terms and conditions. Not available in all areas. Actual Pi customer.
The other workers' comp insurance company, they were going to reclassify our business, and then they were going to charge me $50,000.
Meet Natalie.
owner of the carpentry shop. Shocked by an unexpected bill, she knew it was time to switch her workers' comp provider. That's when she found Pi Insurance.
When we got the quote back from Pi, it was a sigh of relief. They put us in a policy where we fit.
Is your small business overpaying for workers' comp insurance? See how much you could save at trypi.com. Plus, when you sign up for pay-as-you-go billing, your premium is based on your actual payroll, not an estimate. So your workers' comp audit experience is simplified.
I'm grateful that there's a company out there that's willing to insure us little guys because every dollar counts.
With Pi Insurance, you get pricing and coverage made for small businesses. What are you waiting for? Ask your agent for Pi or get a quote in 3 minutes at trypi.com. That's TRYPIE.com.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sactown Sports 1140, part of Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Sacramento will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 916-277-8599. That's 916-277-8599. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Did you catch all the week's headlines?
Check the headline. Check the headline. Here's the headline.
Let the fellas fill you in on this week's In Other News.
Yeah, just before we get to some of the more weird and wacky news in and out of the world of sports, Kyle told me something that's probably more unbelievable than anything you're about to hear in other news. And that is that Simone Rickford, update anchor, assistant producer of the Cattles and Rami show, she picked, who is it? Fairleigh Dickinson?
Fairleigh Dickinson, the 16 seed, to beat the 1 seed Purdue, and it's happening.
How deep are we in this game, and what's the score?
It is Fairleigh Dickinson 54, Purdue 53, with 3 minutes to play.
Still a lot of time. But that could really upset some people.
Yeah, myself included. What made you pick Fairleigh Dickinson? Which, by the way, sounds like a character from The Sound of Music.
Right.
Fairleigh Dickinson.
Oklahoma. It reminds me of what Whitey was saying, talking about being a consultant. Sometimes, these teams are just drawn to you, And
something spoke to you about cute. Fairleigh Dickinson. Yeah. That is cute.
16.
It is a cute name. It is a cute name for sure. All right. So
like yesterday, I found out Louisiana. They're the Ragin' Cajuns, and I was like, if I knew that was their name, I would have picked them too.
I want to put this game on the TV in here, but I know I'll just be too distracted.
Just gotta click up, down, up, down.
Find the channel that the game is on, and then
as Francesa's told it. No, but if they're, I don't want to be too distracted by but if anything happens,
madness. You'll see us explode in the next
jump
room.
in and let us know.
Absolutely.
If the upset's pulled off, or Purdue comes back and puts an end to that. But,
my goodness.
Let's get some in other news. And this comes to us from Georgia, where 50-year-old Belinda Miller of Augusta is charged with felony aggravated assault and criminal damage to property in the first degree. It was just after 7:45 p.m. Saturday. Richmond County Sheriff's deputies responded to a Popeyes chicken restaurant in Augusta for an accident with injuries. The Popeyes manager told deputies Miller drove her SUV into the east entrance after she became upset that her order did not have any biscuits, according to the incident report.
As long as no one was injured, that's justifiable.
The manager told authorities Miller's order was corrected and she received her biscuits prior to the incident, but Miller was still not happy. Prior to the incident, the manager said the woman made several threats to staff, even calling and threatening to drive her car into the building. According to reports, one of the employees who was standing by the entrance was almost struck by the car during the incident.
That's not good.
Miller continued driving after hitting and entering the building until her car was stopped by debris. according to arrest warrants. So this woman was like,
Love that chicken from
biscuits.
Exactly. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Came back around. They gave her biscuits. She was still like, not good enough. I'm going to drive my car through the front of your store. And they didn't take her seriously, folks. And that's where they messed up, is they did not take her seriously.
Attorney, if she hadn't gotten the biscuits at all, I'm taking that case. It's like, yeah, you didn't get your biscuits, you got to cry. But the fact that she got them and then still drove the car, I don't think
I was with you. When I read the headline, I was like, have you had Popeye's biscuits? Exactly. You showed me on some biscuits. I might want some revenge too. Whitey, you got anything for in other news this afternoon, sir, to share with us?
82-year-old Colorado man. Does anyone know? Let's see. Mayo Gilbert McNeil. Watch out for him.
I've not.
Mayo is a great nickname.
Yeah, he's charged this week with selling and trading fake Michael Jordan basketball cards. And and I figure, what did he get, like $50 or something? Over 4 years, he's made with this fake Michael Jordan basketball card scheme more than $800,000.
What? So this was like
cash.
This was an ongoing scam that he had. This wasn't just like a one-time thing. He had a
he started in 2015, included the 2019 sale of a counterfeit card to a victim in New York for $4,500. 2017 deal, he traded 2 fake cards for 2 authentic Tom Brady cards. Which
This seems like
sold. Yeah. The DA says, these cards were in fact counterfeit. He says, I did nothing wrong, declining to comment. So that's another, I
didn't know you could
$1,000.
I didn't know you could. I get it makes sense. I didn't know you could counterfeit cards though.
Well, there's pictures. If these pictures are accurate, he's got them slabbed and PSA, authenticated. And if it looks like maybe he somehow forged the authentication.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
$800,000.
Brutal.
I'm not even mad. I'm impressed. I want to know.
No.
I know. There is that. Yeah.
Big week for Michael Jordan and selling.
Were you guys ever big into that? Nicely played, Kyle. You guys ever big into card collecting?
Still am.
You are?
Yes.
Okay. So did you get out of it and then get back into it?
Yes. During the pandemic, got back into it.
All right. Kyle, what happened? I just saw Kyle.
Shirley Dickinson's up 3 with 2 minutes.
Oh, my God. Okay. This is gonna happen. I think
let's hope.
I was a huge card collector when I was a kid, teenager, and they're all. I'm amazed because the industry almost died. Like the industry almost completely died, and now it's back and it's booming and all kinds, not just baseball or sports cards. I saw.
Well, Mayo ain't helping, by the way, but you're right.
True. I saw Blake Martinez, the former Giants lineman. He retired to sell Pokemon cards and has already made like $5 million, almost as much as he
Don't
did.
get me started on Pokemon cards. I have a story for another day.
Okay.
My brother pawned off a very valuable card of mine without my knowledge. So,
How much did he get?
a bunch of garbage Pokemon. I'll just say it now. He traded a holographic Charizard, if you're familiar with that. It was
Not
like
a holographic Charizard.
It was the most like rare, expensive one you could have, and he traded it away for maybe 8 other just mid ones.
Wow.
It was devastating. I mean, we still have this conversation.
Traded a holographic Charizard for some mid?
Some mid, dude. We had like, I don't know, Chameleon, like just some Ninetales. It was just whatever, just mid.
Not a Ninetales. That's I have no idea.
The Kawhi Leonard trade of Pokemon cards.
Yeah. Wow. But I say this to say that all my cards are just in boxes at my parents' house, and I'm sure there are things of value in there. I'm just too lazy to go through them all. Are there reliable, trustworthy services that you can hand over your card collection to and be like, parse through this, tell me what I got?
Yeah. You have to pay them, but yeah.
And they're reliable? You can trust them?
Yeah.
Do you
They'll
trust
swap
me?
them out.
No, Whitey, I just met you today. I don't know you.
I could do it for a pretty nominal fee.
I like you so far.
Yeah.
I don't know you that. I don't know you, Whitey.
We're going to do it for $100.
Simone, what do you got for in other news?
No,
this
my
Friday
other
afternoon?
news is we're watching this Purdue situation. That's what I'm bringing to the table. Luckily, Kyle has he has something lined up for us.
Go ahead,
Real
Kyle.
nice.
What do you got?
Whitey, Rami, are you guys familiar with the game show Jeopardy?
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorite things that
you told me you wanted to do this.
Yes,
That's
one of my favorite things about Jeopardy is when the sports category comes up, because nobody on Jeopardy who can get all of these incredible questions right can get sports correct.
Yeah, gifted minds.
So this week there was a sports category that came up and everyone got it wrong. Just all 5 questions, no responses, even some wrong ones. And so I wanted to see if you two...
You're about to test me and Whitey here, huh?
Yes, I wanted to see...
Hey, real quick, can you tell me what channel that game is?
It's 1 up, 1 down, Rami.
No, seriously.
Come on.
What's the channel? What is the actual channel?
I can get it for you in a second, but let's, in the meantime...
Why aren't they switching?
You have the question for us, huh?
So here's the category. So
the answer.
I'm gonna read you names of terms in sports, and you have to name the sport. So, for example,
which is what number is Simone?
737.
Yes. 737. All right. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So here's the thing. So if I say, for example, touchdown, field goal.
Sure, we know.
Bing.
Yeah.
Football.
What is football?
I'm going to give you the sport. I'm going to give you the terms. You have to say the sport. Okay. This is the $200 question.
All right.
Inherited runners, appeal play, pickoff.
Baseball. What is baseball?
There you go.
Thank you. All right. Are we competing here, Whitey?
No.
Okay. All right.
No, we're just trying to do better than the people playing.
Right.
And we were already 1 for 1.
All right.
Next one. Best ball, casual water, closed faced, and the absolute worst shank.
What is golf?
Yeah,
right.
Look at that.
Okay, we got 500. We got 500 in our bank.
We'll take sports terms for 3.
All right. The next one. 8 count, accidental butt, cut man for said accidental butt.
What is boxing?
3 for 3.
All right.
You pick one now.
I will go sports for 400, Alex.
It's, 200, 400, 600,
Whatever.
800.
I did not know that. I don't want Jeopardy.
No, you're missing out.
I'm at work.
Also,
Sorry,
rest in peace, Alex.
Double?
Next one we have penalty killing, plus minus, the 5-hole, and the biscuit.
What is hockey?
There you go. 4 for 4.
Look at us.
So talented, you guys.
Look at us.
Last one we have here.
$1,000. This is a big one.
Can we clean house when Jeopardy got 0?
All right.
We have chucker, gag bit, mallet, a lot of money.
What is
cricket?
Oh, I bet it is.
What is
cricket?
I'm going to say cricket. What are you saying, Whitey? What's your final answer?
What is polo, but I'm
polo.
Oh,
I'm going to say what is cricket is my final answer.
We are 5 for 5. Whitey Gleason got it. Polo. Whitey Gleason from downtown. Oh my God, Fairleigh Dickinson's up 5.
They're up 5 with a minute 3 left to go. I think they're gonna pull it. I think forget they. I think Simone is gonna pull this off.
Give me my flowers. Thank you very much.
I think Simone is gonna do this. They're up 5 with a minute left.
This is when the 1 seed, whoever it is in this situation, they get so tight, right? They're tight as a drum, and then the 16 is like, "This is great,
dude." You don't see 116.
No, I know.
It's
one other
1
time.
and I think 118 all time.
Wow.
Nice. Yep.
Wow.
I aim to please.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
UMBC in 2018 was the only one.
Wow. Hey, Whitey, thank you for sitting in.
Thank you
on the show
today.
today. We appreciate you, sir. Had a lot of fun doing it. Also, thanks to Jordi Fernandez, King's assistant coach, Jason Aponte of Niner Nation. If you missed either of those, you can always go and watch them at youtube.com/SactownSports, SactownSports.com, or on our handy dandy, totally free app. Simone, Kyle, awesome job on the updates and on the other side of the glass. And of course, thanks to everybody out there in Sactown Sports Land for watching and listening and participating. For Whitey Gleason, Simone, Kyle, I'm Rami saying thanks for listening to Cattles and Rami. Have a good weekend, everybody, and we'll talk to you Monday. Stay safe. Don't get too stupid with this St. Patrick's Day stuff, all right?
Hoagie's a journeyman golfer. This is the golf there, of course, in Point of Egypt. He went coach on the way home. Now, he doesn't make Smith money, but $1.3 million. The fly coach. Has anybody flown coach lately? Has anybody been on an airplane lately? What a disgrace. I just came back from a beautiful tan. I just came back from the Caribbean. Imagine what they bring on these planes, these people. They bring luggage. They bring tuna fish sandwiches. They bring black coffee that spills all over the place. They have all these bags. They put the bags in the first class compartment when they're sitting in 36F. This is an absolute disgrace. You can't travel anymore. The airline doesn't give you a darn thing. You get a peanut, you should be happy. A glass of water. No wonder he flies wheels up.
Now hurry, go on to the altar. I know you ain't a... Remember what I taught you. Keep your heart 3 stacks. Keep your heart. Hey, keep your heart 3 stacks.